Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to SportsGamer and our continued coverage of the ECL's Elite Division. My name is Doogie, joined this time out by Mr. B Major as we continue on down the path of the ECL's winter season. And Brandon, some interesting matchups today as we continue to see just how things are shaking out in terms of the playoff situation very, very shortly here. Actually, again, it's crazy how close to it we are.
Yeah, Doogie. I mean, it's crazy. It feels like we just started the season yesterday, and all of a sudden, we're already talking about playoff pictures and games having that meeting to where you could really see these games upcoming in the next week or two really impact what we see in the playoff picture coming up. And I think with these two teams, very, very significant opposite ends of the spectrum. Jyväskylä trying to vie for that 1 seed. Falun Coal Miners trying to stay out of that relegation zone. Very, very important points are coming for both these two sides, as well as for Roots and Heimo in our second matchup as well.
Absolutely. Well, with that, let's take a look at the standings here to see how things are looking at this point in time before the match day begins. Again, the top 8 teams make the postseason. And right now, I mean, there's quite the gulf in terms of games played. As few as 18, which can't really say few, that's over the halfway point of the 30-game regular season, but as many as 28 for Unwanted, who currently occupy that 3rd seed, although very unlikely to hold it. Major, we talked about it actually before we went on air. Off of points percentage, they're currently in 8th. So holding on to the playoffs by a thread right now at 28 games played. But it's going to be interesting here because at the top of the table, we also discussed this, the return of Jyväskylä, and here they are now with a great chance to make up that ground on tunnel vision and get that number 1 seed back through 20 games played.
Yeah, I mean, you want to talk about one of the more interesting stories, really, even past this season, over the last 2 years, I think, Toogie. Remember, this is the Jyväskylä team that back in the winter 22 season was vying for a number 1 spot. Then the next season got relegated down to pro, had to earn their way back up. Took them a while to get back to this point, but this is a Jyväskylä team that's been scratching and clawing to this point. Remember, they were in the semifinals just a year ago, and last year took tunnel vision to 7 games, who was the 2 seed coming into that matchup. So this is a Jyväskylä team that quietly enough has come back and have gotten themselves into that core group. And I don't think anyone had them penciled in as a championship contender, but right now they look very legit and they control their own destiny here today to take that number 1 spot over tunnel vision with those games in hand.
Again, their opponent, the 14th ranked Falun Coal Miners, who if the season were to end today, would find themselves in a relegation battle to have to hold on to a playoff spot. A good chance for them today to kind of step back up into one of those safety spots. Playoffs might be a little bit too far out of reach at this stage. But with that, we'll take a look at the matchup here, the team stats up to this stage of the season. And, well, Major, as you would expect to see in a difference between the 2 and the 14 seed, the goal differential, it's about what you would expect.
Yeah, I think that you kind of see this is one of those matchups where the place in the standings kind of does reflect within the stats so far. And for Jyväskylä, you're just seeing what they're putting up. We haven't been used to them being so dominant on both sides. They've typically been one of those middle-of-the-road teams, balanced goal scorers, balanced on their own end, typically around 2.5 goals per game. But Toogie, you go back and look at last season for Jyväskylä, they averaged 2.5 goals per game. This season so far, well above that, almost a goal higher at 3.4. This team has been showing off so far offensively. And for Falun Coal Miners, it's going to be a big challenge for them to try stopping the defensive end, especially considering that they've been struggling a little bit to keep pucks out of their own end. They are not bad in terms of the overall end of the league, but are also in the bottom half. That's going to be something to look out for here tonight.
So let's take a look now at the lineups here for our opening matchup. Again, 2 games, the regular season head-to-head, Jyväskylä taking on the the Falun coal miners. In for Yip, it is Tunkelia, Jamal the Man, and their captain. Indy is the front three. Landstrom and Carcass on defense. Kazu in goal. On the other side, for the Falun coal miners, the lone rookie of the lineup in Aaron's alongside Fopa Toflin, and the former center for Jyp Jyväskylä in Antti going head-to-head with his former club. Jay Toro and Martindale on defense. Ellie Kamel between the pipes. And as we always do, we'll kick it off with that center comparison. It is Jamal the Man and Fopa Toflin, two very well-rounded players. We've seen both of them play defense in the past in this league. Jack of all trades really on both sides. And well, from the face-off standpoint and, experience standpoint, it's close, if not having the advantage for Fopa Toflin, but you do see the difference in offensive production so far this season.
Yeah, and I think that it's almost a little bit unfair to Fopa Toflin because this is a guy that we've seen in the past be able to put up really good offensive numbers, even though he is a solid two-way player. But just overall, Falun coal miners struggling to find that offensive output. If you want to know something interesting, Tugi, Fopa Toflin comes in as the points leader for this Falun coal miners team, so that kind of gives you an idea of some of the offensive struggles. But you look at Jamal the Man on the other side, he is a guy that has proven not just to be a good playmaker, not just to be well defensively, but 15 goals so far this season. Very good number for him. He's a guy that really has been, I feel, underrated over the last few years. This is already his highest ever goal scoring output in his elite career. He is having a great season, has been a very big reason why JYP Jyväskylä has had so much success this season.
We look over at the winger comparison next, again for Jyp Tunkelia and Indy, going up against Aaron's and Antti on the other side. As mentioned, Aaron's the lone rookie of the lineup for the Falun coal miners. Is, I don't want to say long a way to jump to this division, but someone who, had made his way through light up into pro in a relatively quick fashion. I think he was someone that people may have looked at to be like, yeah, that guy's going to get a shot eventually. And so far, over a point per game on a struggling team. So not too bad. But of course, the other side is where we see the big step up, right? I mean, especially too, what has to stand out here, NHL 24 has been a good game for the style that Indy plays, and those numbers really showcase that.
Yeah, and I think that's a big reason that JYP Jyväskylä as a whole has done so well, is that this game feels like it fits them perfectly. And I think that there were a couple of teams that we knew coming into NHL 24 that the way the game plays, how much different it is from 23, where that physicality really does come out to show itself. That benefits a team like JYP Jyväskylä that really does like to utilize that. But alongside Indy, I think Tunkelia also deserves some credit. You have to remember, Tugi, he was a guy that was a staple of those reality check teams that for so long were trying to vie their way back into the elite division. They finally got there, made the playoffs their first year. Unfortunately, were not able to stick around after a struggling season last year. He's been a massive piece here in this JYP Jyväskylä team, and though he might not have a eye-popping amount of stats offensively, I think you could argue that he's been one of the most important transfers of this past offseason. He has really rounded out this offensive forward group and has given them that little bit of extra scoring punch that JYP Jyväskylä, I feel, is needed over the last couple of seasons.
We'll take a look now at the defensive matchup here, as again, it is Landstrom and Carcass squaring off with Jay Toro and Martindale. Again, two of the most experienced defenders in the elite division. But of course, the numbers edge in favor of Landstrom and Carcass. The physicality as well, standing out. That has been one of the keys to JYP's success across the board, has been the physicality.
Yeah, that physicality is going to be something to look out for really all night long. I mean, we talked about it. It's really a key now in this game. It makes this game play so much differently because now you have teams that are really encouraged to step up and go for that hit and be a little bit more physical, while in the last few games, that would almost be kind of frowned upon. It was a rare thing where we saw guys where we step up, try to go for the body, and now it can be such a big difference maker. And that's something that JYP Jyväskylä over the years have tried to actually do, and it's panning out for them now because this game fits that style a little bit better. They have 477 hits this season. That's, interestingly enough, not even in the top 5, but yet here they are still using that physicality to their advantage. So they're not doing it recklessly, but they do it strategically to where it affects the offense and gives them opportunities on the offensive end themselves.
And of course, our final head-to-head, the battle of the goaltenders in this one, Kazu and Ellie Kamel. The numbers line up with what we have seen so far this season. But for Kazu especially, he had some good performances last season. It was looked at someone who could really kind of take that step up this year, and he's done just that. He has some very, very strong numbers for a very, very strong team.
Yeah, just another story for Jyväskylä to where I feel like everyone around the community felt like, hey, that Kazu guy, man, he's got some skill. It's just a matter of him getting on that team to where he can show that off and being put in that position where he can show what he's made of. And he's done that so far, man. I mean, Kazu right now, he is definitely one of the front runners, I think, for goaltender of the year with the stats that he's putting up. And for Ellie Kamel, he's another guy on the opposite end that can really step up, steal some games for his team. Obviously, Falun Coal Miners kind of having a bit of a goalie tandem going back and forth between him and Police Control, but he's a guy that can step up and steal a game, so Jyväskylä are going to have to bring their best offensively against him.
So we are just a few moments away from puck drop. Again, 2 games between JYP and the Falun Coal Miners in the regular season matchup as Jyväskylä look to take one step closer towards perhaps being our number 1 seed. Wouldn't be the first time in club history that they have done that. And of course, for the Falun Coal Miners, looking to move forward and get out of those potential relegation battle slots where they do not want to be. That is a club with a group of players, of course, for the most part, that have been in those type of wars before in terms of having to survive. I'm sure they'd like to be able to breathe a sigh of relief and not have to worry about their positioning heading into our spring season. And again, as Brandon mentioned a little bit earlier on as well, our second matchup, Roots Gaming and Heimo, both teams as well in that similar spot, looking to need to kind of fight out of those relegation positions. Playoffs might be out of reach, but Brandon, it's been the big talking point this season. The new point structure, 3 points for a win. So while it looks like teams might be too far out, you start racking up those regulation wins and you can make up some ground pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I think you're really kind of seeing with a few teams where that has impacted where they currently sit in the standings. I mean, we talked about Unwanted earlier, Tugi, them having 28 points. That is at that 8th spot in terms of point percentage. Well, 5 of their total wins have been in overtime. So it just kind of goes to show you how that has really impacted where they sit in the standings. If you turn even a few of those into regulation wins, you can them being around the 31, 32 point mark, and all of a sudden you're maybe thinking, hey, they have a better chance of staying into that top 8. So you're already seeing how this new point system really is impacting the playoff race and where some of these teams currently find themselves.
And we do have word as well in regards to the Jyväskylä lineup. We talked about the importance of Kazu. He might not be all that featured today. It was the plan, apparently, that he was not going to start game number 2, if I'm reading this correctly. There's a chance he won't be starting the first game, as he might not be able to make it back to his house all that early. So there is a chance that one Hagen Hamilton will end up being the starting goalie for Jyväskylä today, which that'll be another interesting factor, really, to how their season plays out. You look at this as a big matchup for Jyp against a non-playoff team. Great opportunity at 6 points. And running a backup goalie who hasn't, to my knowledge, 18 games played for Kaza, right? We haven't seen Hamilton at all this season, which, hey, could result in a good outcome. I mean, the unknown could step in, have a strong performance, but if you don't, these might be the points you look back on missing out on to say, man, if we didn't get the number 1 seed, what would have happened had we been at full strength?
Yeah, and I couldn't help but to do a little bit of quick research, Tugi, while you were talking about that, because I think it's a really interesting point. Hagen Hamilton, in his career, has played 4 total games at goalie. It was an ECL 7 in the light division. He played 2 games, went over 2, and had a 43 save percentage. And then in the ECL 8 in the light division, he played 2 games, went 2-0, and had an 80 save percentage. So very, very contrasting seasons that he had a very long time ago. So you really don't know what you're going to get until you go and actually see it. You just
don't, because Kazu is here, but now Hamilton is squaring up on left wing and right wing. What is happening right now? Oh, is this troll a broadcaster day? I'm very intrigued. to
Aren't
see
we
exactly
all?
how this is playing out. Shout out to the name changes there from one Tunkelia and Indy, if those even exist whatsoever. Um, this will be an interesting set of games. Is what I'm picking up on here. I didn't even get a chance to look at player builds. My brain was too busy trying to compute what that lineup screen was. But regardless, we have 2 games to play here between Jyväskylä and the Falun Coal Miners. We set the stage about as well as we can, but it's time to get into the action again. As you get one more look at the lineup, it is, from the looks of it, the expected lineup from both sides. Time will tell if we look any more foolish than what we may have just a few seconds ago. Let's get these games underway. Game number 1 between JYP and the Falun Coal Miners. JYP and their road whites for this one. We're looking on from their perspective. A very early offside.
Yeah, and I think that the big question right now for Falun Coal Miners is how do they start out in this game? They're going to really want to try to get that momentum early, knowing that there maybe is a bit of a different lineup for Jyväskylä. We're totally not sure, but at the same time, regardless, for Falun Coal Miners, if you can get that early momentum, we've seen so many times how it can propel you the rest of the way.
Does look to be accurate based off of what we were told to expect, so that's a positive. Maybe some last-second mind games being played. Who's to say? An outlet pass up head taken away by Martindale. He just gets shoved from behind there by Indy. And again, Golden Helmet wearer, team leading scorer, leads the way in terms of physicality as well. We're going to be keeping an eye out on him all game long.
Yeah, and really, I think that's going to be such a big factor for what Falun Coal Miners are and aren't able to do. How do they handle and counter that physicality that they know that Jyväskylä is going to want to throw at them?
Antti down the other way again, playing his former club. At least for the first time here on broadcast. Aaron's a quick shot. Early save there by Kazu. Out the pass from Karkas off the mark. Fopa Toflin tried to hold on to that one. Recovery defense. Takes away the opportunity. Let's see what JYP can do on this break-in. A little bit out of sorts, but they do gain the zone. Marcus along the half wall, back to Landstrom. Now Jamal, good movement. They got it back in front, but the swing by Tunkelia, he missed the puck. Full pressure for the first time. Landstrom to Tunkelia, picked off by Antti. Do a good job of clearing the zone. Full pressure just alleviated. Up Opatoflin out of gas. The spin move. Not going to have the stamina to follow up. Arcus went for Indy. Put him straight into double team pressure. Nice chop by Jamal. Couldn't get possession. Off by Landstrom. It's been all JYP through the opening 10 minutes here. Aside from one chance. Good low shot there by Tunkelia. Rebound out to the corner there. Jay Toro's still fighting for it. Double teamed. Handles it well, as you'd expect a player of his experience to be able to do. Right now for Falun, I mean, Major's just not much going their way in terms of bounces or anything like that to really get the momentum going.
Yeah, and it feels like that's really been the story for this team. We talked about it, goal scoring and just offensive opportunity. It's been a big reason they find themselves where they are this season. So far, not many more remedies to it.
Jamal centering pass. Antti picked it off. Nearly some friendly fire. Elia back to the point. And again down low. Jamal tried to go to Indy in front. Martindale stepping up. Finds Fopatofel. And Aaron's the shot. Good blocker save by Kazu. He'll play it out right into the hands of the Coal Miners, but a loose puck corralled by Indy. Sends JYP down the other way. Are they onside? Yes, they are. Jamal to the point. Arcus, good patience. Landstrom for Tunkelia. The shot blocked. JYP still in control. Landstrom trying to weave through. Down low, Tunkelia, the pass. Had Zaveli Kamel able to keep that one out. Now under 5 minutes to go in the first period. Aaron's into the corner, sends it in front, and it goes into the back of the nets. A fortunate goal for the Falun Coal Miners, but it counts nonetheless. They take the 1-0 lead.
And how about that, Tugi? We just see all the time how you never know when that first goal is going to hit, and a lot of times it can happen right where you least expect it. It looked like a pretty innocent break-in that Falun Coal Miners had. Aaron's with a little bit of space. He was able to kind of speed his way past the Jyväskylä defender, but it didn't look like it was going to be anything harmful in terms of goal-scoring opportunity, and sure enough, he gets in front of the net, kind of sauces it in on what looks like it was going to be a cross-crease pass, and all of a sudden, after JYP dominated the first part of this game, it's Falun Coal Miners to strike first and take the lead.
Cross crease, if not a way to pass it behind the back of the net. Regardless, the targeting worked out great for him, as Aarons has his 7th goal of the season. Falun Coal Miners the lead. See how long it lasts, though. We know Yip's going to want to get that one back quickly. Carcass to Indy, the odd angle shot, gloved, covered by Ellie Kamel.
And you just feel like for Jyväskylä, you don't panic too much because you've been the better team throughout pretty much all of this game so far. It's an unfortunate goal to give up, but you know the way you're playing. You just have to trust that process and hope you can bury one in soon.
All off the face-off. Someone got to stick to that. Kamel again able to cover. Just 1:45 left in the first.
And watch out, Tugi. That full pressure meter is getting really close to being full for Jyväskylä. If they win this off as its own face-off, could be something to look out for.
You have possession off the draw, and there it is. Full pressure as we hit the final minute. Lundstrom centering feed picked off. Antti, smart move to just clear it out. Alleviates full pressure. They do ice the puck, but that's a fair enough trade-off.
Yeah, I think you'll take that if you're the Falun Coal Miners. Just make Jyväskylä try to restart that offensive possession. Don't give them anything easy. Remember, they had full pressure earlier, weren't able to do anything with it. So Falun Coal Miners with the confidence here.
One-timer off the draw, they score. And that's the downside to icing the puck. Tunkelia, that gold 1T, make it 20 on the season in a tie game here late in the first.
We talked about it with Tunkelia, one of the underrated additions over the offseason for Jyväskylä. He's been a great goal-scoring addition for this team. He does it right here in just the patented, simple, one-time play off the offensive zone face-off. Tugi tie up. Indy comes in, picks it up cleanly, and gives it over to the opposite side to Tunkelia to finish that, but it all starts with a clean face-off win from Jamal.
Final 10 seconds, puck sent around. Carcass, the 1T, that one did get through. Stopped by Ellie Kamel, turned over. Lundstrom, low shot. And another shot on net, but time does expire. Late goal from Jyväskylä. We'll get one more look at it. 1-1 after 20 minutes.
Yeah, and how big is that one goal for Jyväskylä after giving up an unfortunate one to give the lead to Falun Coal Miners? Not a lot they could have done about the goal that went on them, but right back at it. Just a few minutes later, they come up with a play, and like we said, that's why you don't panic if you're Jyväskylä. You've been playing well. You just have to trust that process and hope you can bury one, and sure enough, that's exactly what they do, and so far, the stats show that process for Jyväskylä has been working. 3.5 minutes of time on attack, the passing at over 81%. They've been able to find ways to create offense and get quality opportunities, and for Falun Coal Miners, it's just a matter of how do they counter that and maybe alleviate some of that pressure.
Shots are close. The time on attack, very much not. The Falun Coal Miners, though, I still think you take the fact that you're tied through 20 minutes. It wasn't overly pretty, but hey, they did get the goal. Yep, the equalizers. We get ready. Second period action. The puck is down. As always, the action brought to you by our friends at Kovalan Lakrati. Again, it's the first game of 2 between these two clubs on this broadcast. A little bit later on, we have Roots Gaming taking on Heimo. Here's Aarons. As he poked away, he was the goal scorer for the Coal Miners in the first period and picks it off there. Again, an Elite Division rookie. A strong performance in this one so far. Martindale over the line, and hey, he might not be on the best team this season, but there are certainly worse teams to play for in terms of the teammates that he's surrounded by. We talk about this Falun Coal Miners lineup a lot. Now, their captain Furion's not in today, but they still have perhaps more Elite Division experience than any other group. Tunkelia back to the point. Again, close to full pressure. Lundstrom, Tunkelia, loose puck. Jay Toro's there. Talk about a championship pedigree. Here's Fopatolfin for Aarons. Good stop by Kazu. But a promising look there on the counterattack from the Coal Miners.
And it was once again Aaron's there, Tugi. Just feels like he's been the most noticeable one on the ice for Falun Coal Miners so far.
Well, he's going to have a chance here. He's alone on the breakaway. He scores! Make it 2 goals for the rookies against the number 2 seed. Falun Coal Miners have a 2-1 lead.
And what a job there by Falun Coal Miners. You saw Aaron's after that original opportunity. He never really got back 100% defensively, but his teammates able to do a good job there, breaking that play up. You see just getting some pressure there on the break-in. Once Jyväskylä got past the blue line, they create the turnover there with that forecheck. They're able to get the turnover, give it to Aaron's for a quick breakaway, and we just talked about it. The rookie making an impact on one as a very experienced team. There's not many other teams you would rather be on than a team like Falun Coal Miners with that experience. Aaron's taking advantage of it and making his own mark there with that game-breaking goal.
2-1 now. Aaron's up to 8 goals on the season. And he might not be done. He's trailing here. Toflin tried to go across instead. Martindale not able to hold it in the zone. Tough angle. Ended up on net. Again, the Falun Coal Miners do a good job of grabbing the lead here. Kelia tied it once. Let's see if he can do it again. He steps in around the back. Wanted the wraparound. Good poke check. Goaltender may have gotten a pad to it. Good movement again here from JYP. Karkas back down to the captain, Indy. As Jamal rotates out as they just continue to build up this time on attack. Lundstrom to Karkas. Back to Lundstrom. Miscommunication there. All that hard work was for naught.
Give Falun a lot of credit, though. Jyväskylä never had a clear shot.
Aaron's down low for Antti. Reverses it. Toflin will send it right back down. Nobody there except an opposing jersey. All for Tunkelia. Double teamed. It's a good job to get back in the lane, but it does go out to the neutral zone. Falun in control. Toflin. We get it that low. Aaron's nearly walked in front. Gets it back here again. Has help. It's Antti. Tried the short side. Kazu never budged. Toflin the shot. Another good save. Right, the 1 goal against. We have yet to see a shot go past Kazu on the other side as Eli Kamel makes a good short side save.
And Tugi, I think you have to give Falun Coal Miners some credit. I think that this period has been a lot more balanced in terms of opportunities and possession. This is a Falun Coal Miners team that came into this game last in shots. They average 11 per game, but they're really finding their way to some pressure, and yet Jyväskylä slowing down a little bit after that great first period.
All in control up for Indy. He'll circle back. Get more of a controlled break in here. Do have possession. All line. Nice low shot on there. Love to see that. Of course, joined the Elite Division last season as a defenseman. Was it now 2 seasons ago? Tough to say. Time flies, does it not? That one picked off by Karkas. 90 seconds left. Up ahead. Tunkelia can't break through. J Toro, dangerous moment. Gets it away as we approach the final minute of the second period. Will it be another late tying goal for JYP? Martindale can't get it out. Tunkelia to Jamal. Karkas for Lundstrom. One-timer Tunkelia. Good stop by Eli Kamel. Clock still ticking. Feed in front. Nobody home. Karkas keeps it in, but a good poke check by Aaron's yet again will bring us to the end of the second period in a 2-1 lead for the Falun Coal Miners.
And a great job there defensively by the Falun Coal Miners in that last minute to keep Jyväskylä off of the board after they started to push there a little bit. Arguably one of their better possessions of that second period. But once again, Falun Coal Miners stepping up defensively, not giving Jyväskylä that clear-cut opportunity despite a couple of quick chances. But once again, Aaron's really kind of emerging as a story in this game so far, Tugi. He got that first goal off of that attempted pass that just found his way past Kazu. But that second play, once again, Falun Coal Miners applying that pressure on the Jyväskylä break-in. They cause the turnover, give Aaron's a quick breakaway for a 2-on-0 that he's able to convert on. And really, for Jyväskylä, a lot of time on attack, but not a lot of chances with that time on attack. While for Falun Coal Miners, they haven't had to puck a lot. And when they have had it, they've been effective with it. You just have to wonder maybe if JYP gets a little more aggressive in the offensive zone in terms of their shot selection.
I mean, again, that's always a factor, right? You can have as much time on attack as you want, build up full pressure as much as you want. the other day, you need shots on goal. And we've seen that from the Falun coal miners. I mean, at least one of their goals. I mean, hey, passes on net apparently work out pretty well. As well as an early offside here. I'll be intrigued to see just how much JYP look to throw the puck on as this game continues. And 3 points for a regulation win. Benefit both teams tremendously at this stage as JYP very much battling for that #1 seed. Small, good patience here. Darkus the shot. Good deflection by Indy. Ellie Kamel was there. But a different look. Darkus again. Good movement with Indy. Defenseman. It ends up all the way back to the point for Lundstrom. Elia back down low, and that one's rocketed out of the zone. Icing? Indeed, it was Martindale. Got a piece of it, bit of a bizarre play. We have seen JYP tie it, and score their only goal of this game following an icing.
Yeah, and it was really very similar to this. Now, keep in mind, it was on the right side, so it would have to be Indy that converts on that one-time play, but it is something to keep in mind. When JYP gets into the O-zone, they are dangerous in there.
Offside call here down the other way. Broken play continues on both sides in the early start of this third period. Argue it benefits the team with the lead, though, if neither side is really able to get much momentum.
Yeah, and I think that if you're Falun coal miners, you're totally fine with plays like that, but you don't want to get too comfortable either. We saw earlier that Jyväskylä were able to score in a second. So realistically, if you can try to get that next goal, you want to try to if you can. Don't want to get too comfortable.
Jamal, don't know if that was intentional, picking off a pass that was meant for Indy, who just misses a short side attempt. That one off the post, maybe even off the bar. Full pressure for Jyväskylä out of nowhere. They throw a couple shots on Jamal to Tunkeli, a good save. Finds its way to Indy, low shot, bouncing around. They still have control. Lundstrom, D-to-D pass to Karkas, back for Lundstrom. Indy, one-timer does not go. A tremendous chance. I'm not quite sure what happened. Did it deflect? Did he not get the aim right? Regardless, the save was there.
We said it earlier, Tugi. Ellie Kamel, he can steal games, and a nice job from Falun collapsing in front of him. They didn't allow Jyväskylä to go down the middle to where they had to go to the outside to get that shot.
Martindale in a bit of trouble here. Aarons tries to clear it out. Fopa Tolflin able to recover, but does turn it over. As JYP putting the pressure on here. 8 minutes gone in the third. To tie this one up. Good hit again by Aarons. Results in an offside.
Falun coal miners, they've been doing this really all game, but they park all 5 in a line at the blue line. It's something that H-Reds obviously over the years has been very well known to execute well, and you wonder really if that can continue to sustain here with how Jyväskylä has been able to break in so easily.
Karkas, good patience here at the point. Lundstrom shot, gloved and covered. Ellie Kamel, there was no traffic in front of him, so a pretty easy save.
Yeah, but Jyväskylä just continuing to apply that pressure, and we see so often, Tugi, especially with a team like this, with JYP, that has a lot of offensive firepower, the longer that pressure comes in, sooner or later, something's going to break through Falun. It's got to get out of their own zone.
Lundstrom to Tunkelia, space down low, back to the forehand is hit. Indy, not able to complete that pass as Jay Toro steps up into the attacking zone, spins and draws the call. Falun coal miners going to the power play.
Well, we just said it. They've got to get out of their own zone. They don't just do that, but they immediately draw a penalty against Jyväskylä. This is a massive chance here for Falun coal miners with the way this game is trending. If they can get a goal here, Tugi, they could very well be on their way to a massive 3 points. This is a must-score power play. I think you have to be aggressive and try to throw everything you got to try to get that third goal and to double that lead.
High up on the draw. Good job by Indy to take it away. Can't clear the zone. Auntie walked right into Tunkelia, who does send it back the other side of the ice. Mistimed at the line there. Rough start to the power play.
Yeah, not what you want to see if you're Falun coal miners. Kind of has that feel of a missed opportunity if you're not able to convert on this. And keep this in mind, we saw the stat earlier. Jyväskylä, they're over 89% on the penalty kill. That's second best in the league, so not an easy task here for Falun coal miners to convert one.
Tunkelia wants to try to make something happen here, short-handed. Takes it to the corner. Maybe not what he was looking for, but it will kill a lot more time. And right back out This has been a picture-perfect power play mistake there. Get JYP the puck back. Jay Toro, just 5 seconds left on the man advantage. Toflin's shot doesn't get through. We are back to 5-on-5. Ati holds it low. Wraparound scores! A revenge game for the veteran makes it 3-1 after a disastrous power play ended just moments before.
I think you described it perfectly there, Tuki. That was a mess of a power play for Falun Coal Miners. No opportunities. Jyväskylä completely shut them down, but then all of a sudden, Falun Coal Miners at the end of that power play get in the offensive zone. They don't get a shot on, but right as Jyväskylä think they're back to 5-on-5, they think they've got a chance to get back in this game. Antti, against his old team, just goes in and beats Kazu on that play. A massive goal there for Falun Coal Miners, and all of a sudden for Jyväskylä, time getting late here real early.
Got to go all out from here if you want a chance at those 3 points. Toflin in control, couldn't make the pass, does get it back. Now finds Aarons, breaks to the boards, sends it around. 5 minutes left. Coal Miners, no problem, trying to collapse. Landstrom looking to step up. Defense read it well. Toflin sends it down. It won't go for icing. Now just 4 minutes to go, and again, remember, no more real-time final minute. It's just the final 30 seconds. Landstrom steps in. Around the back. Now all the way. Back to the point. One-timer for Jamal. Good stop by Eli Kamel. Sent across and paddled away. 2.5 to go. Landstrom circles, miss, plays the pass. And JYP are running out of time here. Landstrom stepping up. They gain the line. Up the carcass at the point. One-timer, great glove save. Eli Kamel read that one the whole way.
Yeah, very reminiscent to that big save we saw from him earlier on the glove side, and something I think Falun have done so well, collapsing in the slot. They have forced Jyväskylä to go for those outside one-time shots. Eli Kamel has known that, and he's gone to that side every single time reading that play.
Landstrom. Konkelia, Kazu heading to the bench. Konkelia to Jamal. Opportunity. Indy was there as well. Full pressure. Jamal the carcass. That extra attacker is out. Final 18 seconds. Jamal to Konkelia. One-timer doesn't go. Great stop by Kazu. Toflin will swat it all the way down. It'll go for icing. 8.3 seconds to play.
And that's why, Tuki, that Antti goal is so big. You just don't really feel like Jyväskylä realistically can get 2 goals in 8.2 seconds. We've seen crazy things happen, though.
11 shots to 1. The Coal Miners scored on that one shot. Another save by Eli Kamel. Kazu centering feed to Konkelia. And a massive upset here in game number 1 as the Falun Coal Miners take 3 points away from Jyväskylä. A tremendous result for them.
A tremendous result for them, and I don't think that outside of Falun Coal Miners, anyone is smiling wider than Tunnel Vision and Strikers. Both of those two teams benefiting from the Jyväskylä loss. Tunnel Vision holding on to that #1 spot. Strikers now seeing a team that they're tied with in games played but are 4 points behind, drop 2 points of their own, so it gives them an opportunity to close the gap there on that #1 race as well. But Falun Coal Miners, Tuki, really the story, a team that, as we mentioned, realistically out of the playoff conversation, but again, want to avoid being in that relegation zone. They have a lot of games in hand over the teams in front of them, but you got to capitalize on them. And coming in against the Jyväskylä team that has been red hot, they were 9-1-0 in their last 10 games coming into this game, to play toe-to-toe with them pretty much the entire way, but then to also steal all 3 points. That is massive. It may have not been pretty, but they got the job done. So Falun Coal Miners, regardless of the result here in this next game, have to be happy with the points that they have come out with here in the series.
I think a lot of people would have predicted a 1, maybe a 0-point night for the Coal Miners based off of forms. So certainly 3 points is a massive result for them, and they still have 1 more game to go. We'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor with the second game between these two.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, we are back, and a little bit earlier than we expected there based on the timer, because Brandon, those two teams are searching one another out right now. They want to get right down to business with game two, which is more than welcome from our side of things, because that first game, we called it an upset, and it's fair. You know, every team's in the elite for a reason, but when you have the 2 seed falling to a team that's in one of those bottom 4 positions, at the end of the day, you can rightfully call it an upset. And that, again, was a huge result for the Falun coal miners, but now they have to try to weather the storm of, I'm sure, a disgruntled JYP Jyväskylä team heading into the second game.
Yeah, and I mean, you just really look at how the two teams were trending coming into this one. We mentioned that at the end of that game, Jyväskylä 9-1-0 in their last 10 games, while for Falun coal miners just 3-6-1. So not even just where the standings were, but just how these two teams over the past week have been playing. But that's why they played the game, Tugi. You just never know how things are going to go when that puck gets dropped. And for Falun coal miners, they may have not won in the statistical area, but I think the biggest opportunity, or rather the biggest factor in that game, were just the opportunities that Falun coal miners were able to take advantage of in that game. They didn't have a lot of shots, but when they had shots, they took advantage of it. They didn't have a lot of time on attack, but when they did have it, they took advantage of it. While for Jyväskylä, I think the Falun coal miners were plenty fine with letting Jyväskylä kind of work the puck around, not give them that high quality opportunity, and just trusting their goaltender, Ellie Kamel, to be in position to make that save. So if you're Jyväskylä, the question comes, do you try to continue to trust that process, or do you maybe switch things up and try to get 30 with a couple of quick rebounds or tip plays and deflections that you try to set up to just try to soften up this defense of the Falun coal miners? They've been spectacular so far tonight.
You know, I think you look at the changes that we've seen to the game so far, and it was something that Sin noticed a week or so ago on the last Elite broadcast that he and I were able to do, and that was the idea that with the changes to the pressure system, the start of NHL 24, you had a lot of teams who were like, oh God, if this happens, we're giving up a goal. So you had that extra bit of aggressiveness. With the changes that they've made, it does seem like a lot of teams are more willing to still just kind of turtle up, force the teams to the perimeter. And hey, if they get full pressure, well, we're going to stick to it. We're going to collapse, help out the goaltenders. So that does seem to be a little bit more of a common thing that we are seeing as 24 plays out. And it's something I think that we did expect with NHL 24 as well, is we knew that there were going to be more changes throughout the year as opposed to what 23 was, which was set it and forget it in regards to gameplay for the entire year. I do think we have an updated look, though, at the standings following that first game, of course, on this broadcast, as we mentioned a little bit later on, Roots Gaming taking on Heimo, and indeed that first result is in. So you see JYP still currently occupying second place, but as B-Major mentioned, it'll be Strikers now, just 4 points behind them. Obviously, we await to see what the result of this next game will be. And Tunnel Vision still 1 point clear, although Yip with a game at hand when they had a chance to really kind of get a decent gap over Tunnel Vision. And for the Falun Coal Miners, they are still 8 points back of being out of a potential relegation battle position. But another result here could do great things for them. And I mean, in general, we talked about it. You just took points off of one of the top teams in the league. You're playing with house money at this stage for the second game.
Yeah, and Tugi, you mentioned this earlier, the new point system, it throws a massive wrench into this thing because 8 points last few years would have been 4 games that you had to win. Now you're in a situation where that's 3 games and really 4 games with 3 wins and an overtime win. So for Falun Coal Miners, they are in a position not just to where they can claw their way back in, but they're really in that conversation if they can collect 6 points. Now, obviously, not going to be easy against Jyväskylä, who's going to come out with a vengeance, but for Falun Coal Miners, every bit of confidence and every bit of opportunity for them to get out of that relegation zone and to get themselves back into the good side of things here if they win.
Of course, if you're on the PS5 side of things and a member of our Finnish audience, sportsgamer.gg, all the information that you need on our PlayStation Showdown, both the 1v1 and 4v4 tournaments. So keep an eye out on that one. But again, this is a huge, huge game for Tunnel Vision. Or for Tunnel Vision, I should say. I mean, it's a huge game for everybody. It's a huge goal in the early stages of this game. That is exactly what Jyväskylä needed, as Jamal the man deflects one in front just 1 minute and 13 seconds in.
It's exactly what they needed, Tugi, and we just talked about it all night long. Falun Coal Miners have been fine allowing Jyväskylä to just cycle that puck around. Well, this time Jyväskylä didn't. They went in and got an opportunity immediately, started out that low right corner, cycled it back up, and a shot on net. That was the key to get that tip opportunity, and we just said it right before this game started. Does Jyväskylä look to try to get some of those dirty goals to get themselves into a goal-scoring opportunity? So far, the answer, yes, and they capitalized on it.
I had the Freudian slip of saying it was a big game for Tunnel Vision, but that's because I was taking a look at the schedule for the Falun Coal Miners, who still have to play Tunnel Vision, but also a myriad of playoff teams at the moment. Vesapampa, Strikers, Unwanted, H-Reds. They have a nightmare schedule on the back half, so being able to take a few points away in that first game like they did is huge, but obviously we knew Yip would come out strong. I don't think we expected a goal in the first minute 13 seconds. They're going to need a good response here as this game moves on.
Yeah, and it's always tough to give up a goal that early because really it just kind of dampens the morale, especially after you came off such a momentous win. All of a sudden, Jyväskylä, not even a minute into this game, comes in, gets one opportunity, and scores on it.
It might not be done. The opportunity for Indy. Puck does not cross the line. That needs to be a wake-up call, as if the first goal wasn't. Bopatolfin back for Antti. Deflects wide. Now Jay Toro at the point. Can't get the shot through. No, he does. I thought for sure that was blocked down by Jamal the man, but it still found its way towards goal.
Yeah, it looked like maybe a late tip there by Antti, who was camped up in front of the net. Either a tip or a deflection off of the leg that made that puck kind of squeak his way towards Kazu. I'm not totally sure what happened there, but nevertheless, Falun Coal Miners an offensive zone opportunity because of it.
Will be Indy who takes this one away. And entering play today, the second seed between our top-ranked defending champions in Tunnel Vision. Won both the winter and spring championship, but they have some competition this season. And Jyväskylä maybe at the top of that list. Tunkelia picks the corner, and they're up 2.
And boy, did he. That was a ridiculous night by Tunkelia over in that low left faceoff circle. Looked like Ellie Kamel was in pretty good position holding on to that blocker side post pretty well, but just a little bit of movement potentially. Not sure how much that impacted that, but remember as well, Tugi. Tunkelia had that close quarter superstar ability on, so maybe that helped him out a little bit to get that goal. And now Jyväskylä up by 2 and Falun Coal Miners back against the wall early.
21st of the season for Tunkelia on his new squad. leading the way in goals, just surpassing Indy. They go for the rebound play. Jamal just ran out of room, and a miscommunication there between Landstrom and Tunkelia forces Carcass back. Survives the pressure. So again, a 3-1 win for the Falun Coal Miners in game number 1, trailing by 2, perhaps by 3. Indy the backhand on from an odd angle after missing the original pass. Jamal to Landstrom. Had to go back down. Jay Toro was there to pick it off. Halfway through the first period, it has been, well, essentially all Jyväskylä, and they do have a 2-goal lead to show for it. That pass off a skate, offside's the call.
Yeah, and right now you just feel like the Falun Coal Miners need something to try to turn this game momentum-wise back into more of an even scale. It's been all Jyväskylä throughout this game. They've been controlling the offensive possessions. They've been getting a lot of time, but even more importantly, Falun Coal Miners have barely even sniffed the zone. We haven't called Kazu's name really one time so far tonight, and Jyväskylä, they keep playing the game the way it has been. Look out.
What a chance there. Thought there might be a penalty. Instead, it was a great chance on the doorstep for Jamal that Eli Kamel was able to keep out. Martindale down the boards. Jay Toro tries to back skate to the middle. It's upended for his troubles. Jamal wanted to go up ahead. It's offside. 7:07 left on the clock. Again, first period of game 2 between these two clubs. So 3 points up for grabs here if one side can win in regulation. Our first featured matchup today as well. I mentioned it. Roots Gaming taking on Heimo after this series. Another interesting one with Heimo trying to battle back into a playoff spot. Really, both clubs kind of in that similar situation, at least wanting to avoid relegation matchups. We are barreling towards the end of the regular season. We're heading into January that we'll know our playoff teams. Antti holds this puck down low, gets in front. Great stop by Kazu. Landstrom up ahead for Tunkelia, drops it back. Double teamed, gets it to Jamal, tried to go across. Pass was broken up. Tunkelia down low, goes to the point. Arcus for Jamal. Rotates out. 1T for Landstrom was broken up. Fopa Toflin for Antti. Does he have the breakaway speed? He does! It's poked off by Carcass. And a great chance for the Falun Coal Miners. Still couldn't find the opening goal. That one off the skates of Indy. We've seen that a couple of times. Antti takes the hit from Landstrom. Aaron's back pass off the mark. Final minute of play here. For the most part, all Yip. The Coal Miners have had a couple of chances. Few and far between, though. Maybe another chance here for Antti. Does he have the speed? Spins off the back wall, and an opportunity for Aarons as he puts it on backhand. But that will do it for the first period. And indeed, the response that we expected to see from Jyväskylä started just a minute and 13 seconds into the game, and they were able to find another one as well.
And these are two very experienced teams, as you talked about earlier, Tugi. And really, I think the biggest question for teams that you want to see in terms of whether they're championship contenders or not are how they respond to adversity, how they respond to things when they don't go their way, when that upset does happen. You're going to drop some games, some that you really feel like you weren't supposed to. And that happened for Jyväskylä in game 1, but the response so far in game number 2 has been absolutely sound. I mean, 5 shots in 2.5 seconds of time on attack. The story in the last game was how Jyväskylä in the first 2 periods didn't capitalize on their time on attack. You saw a ton of shots for them in the third period that's carried on for them so far in the first period of game number 2. And for Falun Coal Miners, they got things going a little bit in the later stages of that period, but man, a hole to climb themselves out of, because this next goal feels like it could really sway the way we see this game. Either a 2-1 game where Falun Coal Miners can come back, or a 3-0 Jyväskylä lead to where it feels like they'd be running away with it.
Here we go, second period about ready to begin. As always, the action brought to you by our friends at Kovalan Lakritsi. See if indeed the Falun Coal Miners can battle back. If you're able to add to this lead. Love to get a statement victory after being upset in that first game. Off the skate of Jamal, does corral it, double teamed, gets it in front, Andy. Good stop by Eli Kamel. Tunkelia tried another shot, was broken up by Martindale. Up ahead for Aarons, he's alone, and this time denied. by Kazu. He went to that same blocker side that he scored on in game 1 on a breakaway. Kazu had him this time. Here's Indy, a bit of space, working with Tunkelia, but a loose puck finds its way to Eli Kamel. Major, another good opportunity for the Falun Coal Miners, just not able to find the back in the net, though.
Yeah, and just once again, Kazu coming up with a big save, and you wonder maybe if Falun Coal Miners on those breakaways switch it up. If I'm correct, they went for that same blocker side on the last one. Each time they've had that opportunity, they've gone for the same look, and Kazu reading it out and knowing what's coming.
Yep, try to get this breakout going. It's Carcass stepping into the zone with speed. Aaron's able to seal that board off and get the puck back. Martindale takes a huge hit. Tried to play it across the line. Landstrom finding space. Carcass unable to hold the line. And they'll be forced to reset. Carcass for Indy. Good job by the Coal Miners to seal off the blue line. They just can't get position. Landstrom for Tunkelia. Finds Indy finally in a bit of space. Jamal back to the point. Landstrom to Tunkelia. Forced out wide. Fenceman down low. Good patience. Nobody in front, though, on the pass. Jay Toro, what an outlet pass up for Auntie. Has a bit of help. Puck bounces behind the goal line. They tried the quick out. Foot race for it. Jamal's going to win it. Back to launch from Tunkelia, the one-timer read well by Eli Kamel. Couple of broken plays here, but they are generating opportunities.
You'll take them any way you can get them right now.
Toro back for Aaron's, bumped off the puck. There's Jamal working through the middle, nearly found his way through the seam and on goal. Oh, they're though quickly back on that back check. Someone with that defensive experience, very defensively responsible as a center. Offside here, 7:03 to go in the second period.
Boy, pretty back and forth action, Tugi, despite not having a goal so far in this period. Falun Coal Miners with a couple of chances. You mentioned the broken plays that Jyväskylä was nearly able to take advantage, but look at those hit tallies there, Tugi. 24-6 already in favor of JYP. We said that'd be a factor, and it's really struggling on Falun Coal Miners here to get their offense going.
He can't hold on to it. 2-on-2 here for Yep. Make it a 3-on-1. Tunkelia, he scores! Tremendous efforts. And another goal for Tunkelia. Make it 3-0 for Jyväskylä.
And it's all from the little cut move from Tunkelia on this play after that breakout pass from Lundstrom, who adds another assist to his tally right there when he cuts from that left face-off dot, just kind of slides his way through the middle. The defender for the Falun Coal Miners bites a little bit too much, trying to be aggressive to make that poke check, gives Tunkelia a clear shooting lane. He beats Eli Kamel, and it gives Jyväskylä that coveted 3-goal lead.
Making 22 goals for him on the season now. He's had a strong night. Not so great diving effort there as well for Fopatoflin, who was covering for the defense. Got to stay on your feet. Antti, the spin pass. Fopatoflin is there, takes the hit. And maybe the result that a lot of people were expecting to see in the first game. Delayed call here on the Coal Miners. It goes from bad to worse. Charging is the call.
And the worst part about this, Tugi, it comes at 3:04, so Falun Coal Miners not even going to get the benefit of the fast minute here to end the second period. They're going to have to kill off the full 2 minutes and then the extra 30 seconds to where really you know that your fifth man is still not going to be fully back out on the ice. So a massive opportunity. If Jyväskylä get this goal, could very well put this game out of reach.
Arca stepping in. That one deflected away as he went to shoot. Landstrom to Jamal. Indy, one-timer. Tunkelia, lots on that one, but a big blocker save by Eli Kamel. Jamal driving. Eli forced to make another save.
Yeah, and it just feels like Falun Coal Miners, they're just in a position to where they're hanging on for dear life, right? You're down 3-0. You're trying to kill off this Jyväskylä power play at the end of the period. Just feels like it's one of those situations where you want to stay in the game and keep yourselves alive at all costs.
There's nowhere to go. Landstrom able to recover. Leads to a quick offside. 2:02 to go. Again, from bad to worse for the Falun Coal Miners. We'll see if they can find a late goal here. You never say never, particularly in the elite division. People on the comeback efforts, we've seen some crazy things happen. Indy going up high with Jamal. We'll have time to work with. 10 seconds on the power play. Jamal, Indy just missed on the 1T. It's going to catch the man coming out of the box. Auntie again tried to drive to that glove side, or away from the glove side, excuse me. Every single time they would go a blocker. Aja mentioned. Contact there, one more chance. Fopa Tuflin, 4 seconds left. Still has it. It's poked away. JYP Jyväskylä, 40 minutes down, 20 to go. 3-0 lead intact.
Yeah, Tugi, and I can't help but to go back to that breakaway chance. Once again, Falun Coal Miners, really good opportunity, and it just feels like they won't get away from trying to hit that glove side. It was Auntie that time that was looking for it, and it wasn't there. The defender was behind him. Once again, Katsu knew it was coming, and he went to that right side, and it just feels like for Falun Coal Miners, you want to switch it up at that point. Missed opportunity there once again for them potentially, but they haven't had enough opportunities as is either. Just 4 shots on net in nearly 4 minutes of time on attack, and even though JYP Jyväskylä, their opportunities slowed down a little bit in that period, they still got enough to where they were able to sustain pressure and increase their lead a little bit further. It's really the Falun Coal Miners who have that pressure to try to force their way some chances and find some goals. So it's going to be interesting to see how this third period goes, but if you're JYP Jyväskylä, have to feel very good about where you are right now in this game.
There we go, third period coming up. Will there be a comeback effort, or will it be a split of the points? 3 points for a regulation win. We've already seen that for the Coal Miners. Well, it's not quite what JYP would have been hoping for. They'll certainly take it. Tankelia hits the post. Outside of the post there from that angle. Arcus pinching in. Tankelia, the feed in front. Nobody there. And the clock will continue to be the enemy of the Coal Miners on this one. Jamal splits the middle. He scores! Ruthless from JYP Jyväskylä. Jamal the man gets in on the fun. Make it 4-0 for JYP Jyväskylä.
I know that skating skill is not something that's often talked about in NHL esports, but just the way that JYP Jyväskylä have been able to create space for themselves with their skating has been so impressive. You see Jamal on that play just splitting right through the 2 defenders on that breakout pass, able to beat the Falun Coal Miners defense to get that clear opportunity again on Eli Kamel, who really you have to feel for. Not a lot he could have done about any of these 4 goals that have gone in on him, and now for JYP Jyväskylä, well in the driver's seat to take home 3 points after that tough game 1 loss.
Again, the performance I think that we expected to see from JYP in that first game. They got caught, perhaps for a variety of different reasons. Opportunity there. Around the back. You're the Falun Coal Miners right now. You're playing for goal differential. A tie might be out of reach. Great saves by Kazu. Full pressure for the first time for the Coal Miners. Martindale and Jay Toro work to get it back into the zone. The full pressure is off. Jay Toro wanted that wraparound. It was poked away. Martindale able to recover. Centering feed again, a little bit off the mark. Maybe Aaron's recovering this one, and it's tough to say for the Coal Miners. I mean, that's a really unfortunate pass there. Opens up space for Tankelia. Tough to say as Eli Kamel will play it out, that the scoreline has been a little bit unfair to them, but in a way it has. I mean, they have had those sporadic chances throughout the game. Unlike last game, though, just not able to take advantage of them.
Yeah, it felt like last game, Falun Coal Miners were the ultimate opportunists, while for this game, though the opportunities have not been as prevalent, they have not taken advantage of them. I mean, we've seen 3 breakaways for Falun Coal Miners that they just haven't been able to convert on. You scored those 3, you're only down by 1, and this is a totally different looking game. So, to me, too, I think that's the difference really right now between game 1 and game 2. Not the amount of opportunities, not even the quality, but just the fact that in game 1, Falun Coal Miners took advantage of them. Game 2 so far, they just haven't.
A slight delay there off of the feed, but we're good to go. Jamal able to pick this up. 8 minutes left in regulation. A penalty called here on the Coal Miners. Carcass back for Jamal. Good movement here as they await the extra attacker. It's Kazu. They tried to feed him in front. Power play coming up here for JYP as it continues to go from bad to worse.
Yeah, Falun Coal Miners just unfortunate effort for them, unfortunately, with how well that game 1 went for them. For this one to go just so opposite the turn really so quickly, it's got to be pretty jarring for them. And now Jyväskylä a chance on the power play that they can just kind of play around with and try to up that score for the goal differential, which, keep in mind, can make a difference at the end of the season with those tiebreakers.
Presumably, this ends up being a regulation loss for them. They are in 13th at the moment in the standings. You know, it gets to be a little bit difficult to catch the team ahead of them, which is Goons, but it's not completely impossible. As I mentioned, the Coal Miners have such a tough schedule through the rest of the season. Literally every single one of their opponents currently in our top 8 and would be a playoff team if the season were to end today. So it just goes to show you, of course, you know, you end up with those games against similar opponents and you don't make the most of those. You have to end up in this situation where they're gonna have to take points off of top teams. Kazu plays this one. Fopatoflin at his shot blocked. Penalties called here. Falun Coal Miners will go to the power play. The tripping was called on Carcass, and maybe a mistake there for JYP. Opens up the window of opportunity.
Yeah, maybe not a chance to come back and win this game, but to at least try to get some positive momentum to end the series out on. And, you know, you mentioned it, Tugi, you want to try to capitalize on these opportunities if you're Falun Coal Miners, but I think at the end of the day, at least in terms of public expectation, 3 points out of this series is not bad at all. I don't think many people would have been stunned if they had only come out with 1 or 2. To get 3 is definitely a win for them, even if it's not all they could have gotten.
Cross for Jamal, the short-handed bid. The attackers for JYP. Not going to turtle up here at the end. They kill off some valuable time to this power play. Aaron's over the Fopatoflin, gets it back. Cross the back end. Goes wide. And a miscommunication there. We'll wind it down to where they pretty much have 1 opportunity left on the rush. 17 seconds here on this power play as they cross the line. Antti stripped of the puck. Up ahead for Jamal. Finds Indy. We're back to 5-on-5. Final 2 minutes. Kelia over to Carcass, stepping in. Carcass wanted that forehand shot. Couldn't find the space. Opatoflin between the legs. Over for Antti. It was bobbled. Poked away briefly. Tremendous placement there by Indy. It's going to go all the way back for Carcass. And Kelia has his pass picked off by Martindale. Antti. Numbers, and they score. Tough break for Kazu. Losing the shutout in the final 30 seconds. Another goal for Aaron's, one of the bright spots tonight. Falun Coal Miners.
Yeah, you'll take that for Falun Coal Miners. Not going to change the way that this game goes, but you at least break the shutout. You get a goal here to more than likely end this game, and you can come out of it at least not totally sour about how this ended. Like I said, not going to get the win, obviously, but still, when you score a goal, always a good thing and take some positive momentum.
A shot there, stopped by Eli Kamel. Final 7 seconds. Antti dangles through, finds Fopatoflin. Awkward moment, but that will do it. A win apiece for both of these sides. A good bounce back from JYP and a dominant performance in game 2. They walk away with 3 points.
Yeah, and I think this is the game that Jyväskylä had more in mind coming into this series. I think they were able to really control this game from start to finish. They made Falun coal miners rather uncomfortable, I think, early. And again, I think the biggest difference right now is that Falun coal miners, they had opportunities that they weren't able to take advantage of in this game. And for Jyväskylä, they found ways to score that weren't just cycling the puck around the offensive zone. Falun coal miners were plenty fine, letting JYP just kind of cycle that puck around, keeping them to the outside, not allowing them to find those dangerous opportunities in the middle of the ice. And really, Jyväskylä didn't have an answer for it, really, in that first game, but they were able to find other ways to score on the breakout. They were able to take advantage of a couple of quick plays when they had that space to the outside to shoot the shot rather than going for a pass, and it helped them in this game. They were able to find ways to score more than they did in game 1, and it rewarded them with a win.
4-1, the final score in the second game between these two clubs. Again, we still have more action to cover. Roots Gaming taking on Heimo. Just a few moments, but you get a look there at the final numbers, and indeed, for Jyväskylä, able to find the back of the net a bit more consistently in this one. Major, you mentioned it, a goalie like Eli Kamel can save you and win you some games. Not able to do so on that occasion, as again, 3 points apiece for these two teams. Doesn't change their situations all that much as things continue to develop and push towards the playoffs, but a decent result for the coal miners, an okay result for JYP. I'm sure they wanted a little bit more than 3 out of 6, but with that, we will be back after a brief intermission as we set the stage again for that second set of games between Roots Gaming and Heimo. So stick with us. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, we are back. Thank you for sticking with us. We are just about ready to go for our second matchup of the broadcast. Again, Roots Gaming taking on Heimo and Major. Let's take a quick look here at the standings to, see where things are after our first few matchups of the day. Of course, that second result not yet filed in with Jyväskylä and the Falun coal miners, but as things stand, it will be Jyp on 47 points through 20 games played. So 2 points ahead of Tunnel Vision at the top of the standings. And of course, you'll still have a team like Strikers that are, well, no pun intended, within striking distance of still claiming that top spot. But our focused matchup is really on the outside, looking in that right side of the bracket, as we have the 11th seeded Heimo taking on Roots Gaming. And for Heimo, they're looking at still being able to make their way into the playoffs if they make the most of their 8 remaining games. Again, with the 3 points for regulation wins, you can make up some ground. For Roots, well, hey, you're not making the playoffs this year. I'm sure they know that at the very least, but you could still theoretically work your way into a situation where you're outside of the bottom 4 and not having to fight for your survival, if not being outright relegated.
Yeah, and I think that this is really interesting because this is also 2 teams that were in this exact same position during the spring 23 season. Heimo, who used to be Yano, were in a playoff race this time last season, and they ended up snagging the very last spot at 8th by 4 points. Roots Gaming, who were trying to avoid the relegation zone, ended up barely avoiding the relegation zone by just 1 point. So you're looking at 2 teams that are in the exact same position that they were a year ago, and they have some experience in this. Now, for Heimo, it's going to be a little bit more challenging because they have 22 games played, while for Vesapampa, who holds that last playoff spot, they have 2, about to be potentially 4 games in the hand. So for Heimo, they're in a position to where this series feels like both games are a must win. You cannot let a team like Roots Gaming that is outside of that playoff hunt snag points against you. They are going to have to at least snag 5 to 6 points here, in my opinion, in this series to stay alive in it.
Again, it's a 30-game regular season. Top 8 teams make the playoffs. Of course, 9 through 12, safe from any sort of relegation situation. We'll see who ends up where by the end of next week. It's already getting to be around that time. But with that, let's take a look at the matchup that we have. Again, Roots taking on Heimo. As you get a look here at the numbers so far this season, not surprising to see as drastic of a negative goal differential for Roots, given where they are in the standings. But it shows, the difference for Heimo. You have to wonder how much further up would they be if you just inverted that goal differential. I mean, when you're that close to 50%, I mean, those are points being decided.
Yeah, and for Heimo, I think the biggest thing for them is the fact that they've been able to score goals at a pretty decent pace. You see 50 goals for them so far in the season. That's not bad. Sure, it's maybe not an elite number, but that's a number for around a 7 to 8 seed, which is what they're fighting to be. They're 7th in goals for per game. The problem is they've allowed so many goals on their own end so far. So really, the biggest question is, can they find a way to remedy things in their own end? If they can do that, they can find their way into the playoff picture. The problem is that they've got to stop some goals on their own end, and luckily for them, Roots Gaming, a team that's struggled on the offensive end. So for Heimo, I think you have to feel pretty good that your weakness is your opposition's weakness so far.
Take a look at the lineups that these 2 teams will be icing for tonight's games. For Roots, it is Limu, Lexa, and Sampe as the front 3. Nordsman and Vodi on defense, and Iontes in goal. On the other side, Aro, Mickey's, and Emil, with Sada Poika and Sakam on defense, and Avamo in goal. Let's start off by looking at the center comparison here between Mickey's and Lexa. Lexa hasn't really played much this season. That could be a gigantic part for their struggles. Of course, one of the better players on the team, and unfortunately under a point per game when he has played. On the other side for Mickey's, decent numbers, but that was a question in regards to Heimo, is did they kind of make the right choices with some off-season moves? You have Sada Poika dropping back to defense. And so far the answer is, well, maybe not. But certainly looking at these two teams, these are two guys in particular that need to have strong nights tonight.
Yeah, I think Lexa is going to be really interesting to look out for. A guy that's been able to score a little bit, but has been more known to be that balanced center that you can typically really rely on. Maybe not a superstar that you always will see pop with the statistical numbers, but he's just always one of those guys that seems to make the right play, is right where he's supposed to be, has chemistry with this Roots Gaming team. It's going to be fun to see him back in the live wall. Like you said, that was one of the conversations for Heimo coming in. What were some of those roster moves compared to last season going to look like? And you see they brought in Ardo, who comes from Jyväskylä. They had Satapuika drop back to D, Sakum coming in as well and being at that defense spot. So far, it's been around the same results, maybe a little bit less. So for Heimo, you maybe wonder if they can finally hit that form as a lineup at the right time. An opportunity for them to get that going here against a Roots Gaming team that they're kind of catching in at the struggling point.
Take a look at the winger comparison here next. Again, Limu and Sampe on the left-hand side, Aro and Emil on that right-hand side. And of course, the Heimo duo are going to be looking just a little bit stronger at this stage based off of how the season's gone. But for someone like Limu, over a point per game, certainly someone we'll be keeping an eye out on, especially the aggressiveness advantage compared to the other three in this matchup.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be something really fun to look out for. It was a story in our last series, and it'll be a story here yet again. Two teams that are kind of differing in terms of their physicality. Heimo being third in the league in hits with 537, while Roots Gaming a little bit lower in eighth at 474. So you see Heimo, they're a team that like to throw around that body a little more, especially with Aro over at that left side. So going to be something to really look out for here throughout this game.
A defensive comparison is next. As for Roots, we have Nordsman and Vodi on the other side, Satapoika and Sakam. Physicality is the name of the game here when looking at these four. And as well, being able to put up points, Vodi, the lesser of the four in that regard, but has shown that offensive inclination in the past.
Yeah, and I think that speaking of offensive inclination, I think you have to look at Nordsman, who has been pretty underrated. Obviously, that being a bit of a product of just the team he's on and the performance that they've had. But 17 points in 22 games so far, pretty solid number. He's a guy that in the past has shown that puck moving ability to set his teammates up. He had 30 points in 30 games last season. He had 27 points in 30 games in the winter season in 23 in Elite. He's the guy that has been one of the better offensive producers at the defense position really for a couple of seasons now. Just hasn't really had that same amount of pub because of the Roots Gaming team and kind of where they've been. But he's going to be somebody I'm interested to look out for, not just on the defensive end, but on the offensive end as well. He can make a lot of plays from that lefty side.
Of course, our final head-to-head, the battle of the goaltenders. Iantas taking on Vamo, and strong numbers on the right-hand side for the goaltender of Heimo. Decent numbers for Iantas so far. Kind of sets the stage for this goaltending matchup where you could realistically see either goalie stealing away points here based on their performance.
Yeah, and both of them are goalies that have a lot of experience in this league. Yantas being one of the guys that has been on this Roots Gaming team for a long time, as far back as Winter 22 here in the Elite Division. While for Vamo, another guy that has a lot of experience and has been playing this game, has been playing in the Elite Division for some time, whether it be with Hamo or whether it be with Yano or Aho. He's been a guy that is familiar with this league, and so far he's had arguably his best season to date with that 83 save percentage. So it's going to be interesting to see these two. They're both very comparable with each other. Both can steal a game at any given point, and both these teams so far still trying to find that consistent offensive rhythm. I think that both these guys can have stellar performances here tonight.
So again, just a few moments away from puck drop, the first game of two between Roots Gaming and Heimo in our second featured matchup of this broadcast as we wind down with this regular season. Still a lot to be decided, of course, over the next week and a half as things wrap up with the Winter 24 regular season. Again, still a lot to figure out playoff-wise, as we've talked about all broadcast long. But in talking about this matchup, kind of the importance that it has for both of these two teams. I mean, hey, that's what we wait for, is these playoff-like scenarios, or relegation playoff scenarios as well. As you get a look at the two teams dressing room wise, and the first thing that caught my mind, shout out to Mickey's running that grinder, a player after my own heart, big tipper, grinder in front of the net as a centerman. Love to see it. Love to see it. Not quite a meta build, but hey, that can be dangerous, certainly. But with that, a reminder, this upcoming Monday, week 5, kicks off with two big tilts here. Strikers taking on Mayhems, two current playoff teams, and Vesapampa, who are looking to get back into that Elite 8, taking on the Falun Coal Miners, who will be in action one more time, and we'll see whether or not they are able, well, pun intended, to dig themselves out of the situation that they've been in. Again, they have, I know, hey, sometimes
I like that, but that was a good one.
Sometimes you just got to take the easy one that's there. Sometimes you do. But with that, we are ready to go. Again, the first game of 2 between these two clubs. Let's get it going. Again, we are watching from the Heimo perspective here. And we always wonder if there'll be a feeling out process, maybe a quick mistake that can lead to a quick goal. We saw that in the second game. We nip into Falun Coal Miners as Aro gets absolutely leveled. Nordsman stepping up for Roots, tried to drop back to Limu. Defense was there. Pick off by Nordsman. Doing this breakout, working with Vodi, trying to find space, pass off the mark. Does look to be more of that kind of slow, methodical feeling out process. Heimo are onside here. East into the middle. Good blocker save there. Yantes denying Aro. Limu can't hold it through that double team pressure. Aro stepping up again. The centering feed. Off the mark. Still holds on to it. Kicks back to the point. Satapoika over for Sakam. Down low, Emil. Good movement here from Heimo. The odd angle backhand. Yantes was in a good position to make the save.
Tugi, I think you described something perfectly. Kind of that feeling out process, it feels like right now between these two things. It's kind of slow, methodical, testing the waters, what works, what doesn't work, trying to see tendencies in your opponent that you can maybe try to exploit here later on in this game.
Sakam walking the tightrope there. Finds Mickey's that pass off the mark. Lexa trying to hold on to it. And does. Good job to get out of trouble. See if Roots can get that break-in going. Had too many cracks at it, but Aaron passes to stop them. And then, of course, you have Heimo doing a good job of patrolling that blue line. Approach the halfway point of this first period already. Nordsman, the quick out to Limu, has space. Tried to cut across. Defense was there to take it away. Good job by Satapoika.
Yeah, nice job from Satapoika, who, as we mentioned, moved back to D for Heimo this season. And he's a guy that as a forward was always a quality defender. So he's going to be able to do the same at that left D spot. Give Vamos some credit, though, as well. Right where he needed to be to get a pat on that.
That shot blocked down. Down the other way, it's Aro. Drops back. Wrapped around, Emil, and an opportunity there. Mickey's nearly tagging that one through the 5-hole, finding the back of the net. Good wake-up call there for Roots, who have a chance of their own. Low shot by Limu, paddled away. Up by the goaltender, Vamo. As Sakam upended, Limu in possession for Roots, down into the corner. Patience. Pass there as Vodi couldn't pick that one up. Trying to get things going. Burst it around, Emil. Run down there by Limu, who's still fighting for it. Couldn't hold on. Emil back to the point. Sakam the shot. Stopped there by Yantes. Both teams showing that willingness to throw pucks on in the early stages. Roots back in the attacking zone. Lexa the odd angle shot. Stopped. Lexa again for Limu. The corner. Down low, Lexa trying to hold on to it. Atapoika was able to take it away again. Huge hit there at the blue line. Is Heimo still in possession? 2.5 to go. Fast-paced first period, very few stoppages. Cody working with Limu, now steps into the attacking zone on his own. Drives some double-team pressure, finds its way over. Good poke check by Sakam. Roots still in control, final minute. Nordsman pinching in, he scores! A great job by the defender, takes it to the house on his own for his first of the season, and Roots Gaming strike first in the final minute.
I told you, Tugi, I like this guy, Nordsman. He is a guy that creates plays, and typically he does it for his teammates, but this time he does it for himself. As you see, Roots Gaming thought they might have almost lost the puck there, but Nordsman right in position to get it back, and man, Heimo really from top to bottom. That's a play they're going to want to have back. 3 defenders pretty much just drifting towards the middle of the ice, giving Nordsman an easy lane to go through, and not only did the defender drift to the middle of the ice, but Vamu did as well. A wide open net for Nordsman to put that in. That's going to be a goal that Heimo wants to have back. Not a pretty one for them, but a great one for Roots Gaming to get the lead.
100%. 6 seconds left here in the period. Sampe able to pick that one off. One more chance here for Heimo, perhaps. Heimo, the slap shot goes wide. And that'll do it. So very similar to what we saw in the first game. As, Roots spent a lot of time on their, on their heels in their own zone. They do have a 1-0 lead after 20 minutes.
Yeah, and really this game has been pretty interesting. It's gone by fast, but the pace has been kind of towards the middle, right? We've seen a couple of opportunities for both sides. It's been back and forth, not in terms of just high-flying breakaways and quick opportunities, but just in terms of opportunisticness. And that really is going to be the name of the game, I feel like, in this series for both of these two teams. And you saw it, Heimo not able to get out of the zone. Roots Gaming got it back after they almost lost it. Nordsman able to drive his way right through, and Heimo just a poor job defensively, giving him that open space, and Vamu not staying committed to that blocker side to give him the easy goal. So once again, opportunistic, taking advantage of opportunities and capitalizing on them. That feels like that's going to be the difference for these two teams. Roots Gaming were able to do so, and it gave them the lead.
The second period about ready to begin. As always, the action brought to you by our friends at Kovalan Lakritsi. It is game 1 of 2 between Roots Gaming and Heimo. A 1-0 lead for Roots following the goal. This first of the season, the defenseman Nordsman has a good chance there early on for Heimo. They had a couple of good looks in that first period, not able to find the back of the net. You can see here a really high press. Sampe able to get through it though. Stepping in for Roots, nice slow shot. Rebound out a bit too far. Teammate to corral it, Sakam. Trying to hold on to this one, good patience. Longtime defenseman in this elite division. Do turn it over though, Lexa in the corner. Went to Vodi at the point. Ended up breaking the opposition stick. You can see it's Aro who's providing our camera here. A good save by Vamo. One of these days we'll have a spectator cam. Be able to keep it on true broadcast, right where we want to be. And a Vodi, a big one-timer just wide. Follow-up shot off the side of the cage. Full pressure here for Roots, trying to take advantage. Emil able to get that puck out. Sampe regains the zone. 9 seconds left for the full pressure. Feed in front, broken up. Mickey's trying to hold on to it. Aro as well. Upended, full pressure about to expire. The pass, another pass, and it just doesn't get on net. This Vamo was down and out. Another spin. Sampe, Vodi at the point. Goes for Nordsman. Great zone time. Limu, save rebound. It was interrupted. What would have been a wide open cage on the backhand. Full pressure again for Roots. Vodi D to D with Nordsman. Nordsman on net, saved by Vamo. They didn't have anybody in front. Sampe down low. Nordsman to Vodi, it's blocked. Vodi recovers. 10 seconds left on the full pressure. Lexa makes a mistake. And that'll bail out Heimo as Emil will send this one down without the icing. Tremendous work from Roots. But ultimately couldn't make the most of it.
Keep in mind the stamina, Tugi, too. Heimo very, very low.
Limu to Vodi, another save. And mercifully, Vamo will cover with 8:18 to go in the period.
This feels like an opportunity that Roots has got to capitalize on. All kinds of pressure. Heimo gasping for air, literally and figuratively right now. Feels like if Roots can get the second goal, this would be the opportunity for them to do so.
Sent down low. Keys for Sada Poika. Good movement here from Heimo. Almost be a role reversal, of course. Now, outplayed in the period, but to be able to grab a goal would be huge for them. Roots have a different plan in mind here, although Lexa can't hold on to it. Pass by Emil. It's Aro now, stepping over the line. Over to Sada Poika. He's back to Aro. Golden helmet wearer, his team leading scorer, couldn't get that shot through. I feel like all that long ago that Aro debuted in the Elite Division. A couple of seasons ago already at this point. Time flies. Limu, nice shot. Good kick save again by Vamo, whose rebound control has been on point. Good job here by Aro. Takes his time, goes down low. Mickey's back to Aro on the rollout. Couldn't get the shot off. That one shoveled towards goal. Mickey's there as well. And right now it's been the goaltenders stealing the show here in the second period. Consistency in making these saves and an offside call here.
And when talking about Yantes and Vamo, Tugi, at the beginning of this game, we said that that could very well be a possibility, that it is those two that really steal the show and impact the way this game has gone. And so far, that's exactly what we see. Yantes so far, perfect for Roots. Vamo has been pretty much close to perfect, but he did make the mistake on that one goal, and that's the difference maker. So a lot of pressure on these goaltenders this game.
That one sauce towards goal. Final minute here in the second period. Turnover, but a penalty called. There'll be a cross-checking infraction as Heimo will get a late power play here in the second.
Boy, and how big could this be? A lifeline potentially for Heimo, who have been utterly and thoroughly dominated in the second period. If they can come out and get a power play goal against a Roots gaming team that, by the way, is 66.67% on the PK, that'd be massive.
Final 30 seconds here. Heimo able to keep it in. Sada Poika battling down low, still has it, can't get the pass away. Emil helps out, but turns it over to Vodi, who sends it all the way down. Maybe time for one more chance, or maybe not. Amo plays it out to Sakam, and indeed, that will do it. One extra save there at the end. Roots holding on to a 1-0 lead. Surprising in some ways, but hey, they'll head to the third period with the lead.
Yeah, you know, it does kind of feel a little bit reminiscent of that first game that we saw in Series 1 between Falun Coal Miners and Jyväskylä, who are Falun Coal Miners just holding on to that 1-goal lead, and they were able to break through and get a second goal, ended up carrying them all the way through. And really, for Heimo, the biggest thing is what can they do to try to turn things their way. It was all Roots, it felt like, really in that second period, and I think it all starts with trying to capitalize on this power play opportunity that they have to start the third period. As we mentioned, a 67% penalty kill for Roots Gaming. That is tied for third worst in the entire Elite Division. This is a Heimo team that desperately needs points. They cannot afford to drop points to a team that's out of the playoff picture. This period could very well be what could impact Heimo's chances of making the playoffs or being on the outside looking at a massive 20 minutes here upcoming for them.
I mean, for both sides, right? We talked about that in the pregame. For Heimo, trying to get back into the playoffs. For Roots, to be able to catch up to Heimo and try to dig themselves out of that lower spot. It's a big, big period of play here for these two teams. Might not be the most prestigious thing. They might not be battling for number one seed in the playoffs. But it is an important matchup nonetheless. Does a great glove save there, Yantes. Making a couple of stops here. As the power play expires, we are back to 5-on-5. Heimo still in the zone. One-timer off the defender in front. Great job by Nordsman to get in front of that one. There's a shot there. Sent out of the zone right as they had gotten full pressure. Huge poke check by Lexa. Stopped them from reestablishing the zone. Sock him over the line. On the forehand. EDD pass to Sadapoiko, cuts back. Trying to walk that tightrope, still has it. Finds Sakam, can't get the shot through. Good block. Heimo, though, right back in possession over the line. Huge hit. Sakam couldn't block the blue line tightrope, and they have to reset. Still
feels like the second period, but in reverse, though, Tugi. It's been all Heimo so far the first 6 minutes.
Plenty of aggression, too, from Roots on the blue line. You like it. They're not just backing up and turtling to an extreme level, trying to pick their spots. Aro gets decked. Mickey sends it across. It just wouldn't settle. Emil had some space. Pompey now unable to hold on to it. Emil over for Aro. Has a bit of help. Gets it across. Good stop by Ontis again. Mickey's back for Emil. The point. Miscommunication with Sadapoika. 9 minutes gone in the period.
And Roots plenty fine letting Heimo work that around the outside. No danger to score out there.
Penalty called here. Heimo's going to go back to the power play. Interference is the call on Nordsman. We'll get a look at it again, but a huge chance here for Heimo.
Yeah, and that's big because now you have arguably one of your best players in the box, and not just one of your best players, but one of your defenders for Roots Gaming. So, you know, for Heimo, you weren't able to capitalize on that first one, but you get a lifeline here, and you are playing well with momentum. This feels like a must-score chance here that Heimo's got to capitalize on.
Sakam holds the puck in, gets it back, working with Sadapoika. The shot, they score! They finally find their breakthrough. The grinder, the center in front of goal. Big Tipper works out yet again, and we are tied.
And it all just started with Heimo cycling that puck at the point, just getting that space and then waiting for Mekis to kind of get into that middle to get to an opportunity where he could tip that on net. And that's exactly what they did. I don't think that puck ever went outside of the point until the shot went on. And that's exactly what they did. They just kept it at the point, got that shot on, and were able to get that tip through.
Huge goal there as Roots played with fire a bit too much in regards to penalties. Nordsman pinching in. Sampe goes back to Vodi at the point. Maybe one pass too many. Without a shot. Here's Emil. Has a bit of space. Off the spin. Just couldn't complete the move. 7.5 to go. Again, 3 points for a regulation win. The emphasis is there for both of these two teams. Win this in regulation, as much as you'd love to say, hey, get to overtime, at least get a point. 1 point, likely not enough for either of these sides to really accomplish what they're looking to. Back half of this season. Ampe back for Lexa. Down low, Limu, good patience, finds Nordsman. Limu again, wrap around, penalty called. Roots will go to the power play if they need it. They move back to Nordsman. Goaltender still heading to the bench. Nordsman to Lexa, shoveled it just wide. Zombie able to keep this one alive. The extra attacker's out. Nordsman couldn't hold it. And now Roots will get a chance here on the power play in the third period.
Oh boy, here we go. Looks like Roots now with a chance to make up for that penalty that they took earlier. And not only do they have a chance, but they have a chance late in this game. And I mean, Tsugi, you set the stage up perfectly. Two teams that desperately need all 3 points. Playoff hopes and non-relegation hopes rely on it. This is a massive opportunity here for Roots Gaming that they have got to try to get.
Sakam in control of the puck, sends it off of his own teammate. That's going to allow Roots. No, they don't get the pickup. Oh, that's a tough break there for Roots. Fortunate for Heimo, and just like that, the power play nearly half over. Good movement here. Bodie has space, drops back to Lex at the point. Nordsman back to the center. Limu for Nordsman, back to the forehand, in front. Sampi to Nordsman. Good stop there by Vamo. Full pressure here for Roots. Nordsman gets the shot through, another save. Final 2 minutes, the odd angle goes all the way through the crease, back out the other side. Lexa at the point. We're back to 5-on-5. Lexa can't get the shot through, but does get it back. Nordsman, 10 seconds on the full pressure. Into the mixer. It's going to be Emil who comes up with it and sauces to clear the zone. Full pressure still on. 26 seconds to go in regulation. Can we find a late winner? 3 valuable points up for grabs. Vodi to Nordsman, doesn't get through. As Emil across for Aro. Takes a huge hit, can't draw a call. Sampi for Lexa, back to Nordsman, they're onside. Sampi up ahead. It's Emil now the other way. After the pass from Sockham. And that will do it. We are going to overtime in game number 1 between these two teams. Both clubs earn a point. They'll play for the extra one, but again, neither able to lock down 3 points for the regulation win.
Yeah, you know, you just can't help but to feel like that these two teams feel like they've left a little bit of meat on the bone, potentially, a little bit of food left on the plate, and especially considering that they both need every point they can get. And you know, for Heimo, I think that you are happy to take it because you were down 1-0 early in this game and you had to kind of scratch and claw your way back. But for Roots Gaming, who, remember, had a really good opportunity to try to come in and get a 2-0 lead, they had that long sustained possession that lasted a good 6 or 7 minutes, I think, Tugi. Multiple full pressures, and they came out empty-handed. To me, that is where this game has really shifted. They've not had a possession like that since. Heimo was able to capitalize on that power play, and now we're in a tie game with both teams losing out on that extra point, but one of them also securing a point as well.
Here we go, overtime. To decide the extra point again, just the first game of 2 between these two clubs. See who can get it done here. Sockham able to pick that one off. Pass to Aro off the mark. And an early icing call. They'll have a face-off in the attacking end.
Yeah, and I think that this is going to be really interesting to see what Roots Gaming draws up. We see so many times where goals can be scored in the first few minutes of overtime just off of that one opportunity. So we'll see maybe if Roots being in the offensive zone can get something.
Sockham again able to pick off a pass. Knocked loose, Sadapoik able to keep it in, sends it down low. Aro loses it. Roots looking to get it going down the other way and just missed timing that entry pass.
Yeah, but so far it's been Roots Gaming with a lot of the puck possession so far, and the one thing you love to have in an overtime game, because you know that that one shot could be the winner, is to have the puck on your stick. The more they can deny Heimo of having that puck, the better their chances become of winning this game.
Emil nearly worked his way through. Mickey's dropped back to the corner. Down the other way, Limu. And can't hold it through double team pressure. Aro splits the difference, but couldn't hold on to it. And an odd play there for Sockham, who wasn't able to maintain it. Get that pickup. Sadapoika corrals it. 5 minutes gone already in the overtime. Sudden death rules, of course. Penalty called here against Roots. Will be a Heimo power play if we need it. Knock him down low for Emil. Good movement. One too many passes. Power play coming up here for Heimo.
Boy, this is dangerous, dangerous, dangerous right now for Roots Gaming. Penalties have really hurt them so far, and it was Nordsman again who took the last penalty that led to the Heimo goal. So a team that has struggled on the PK all season, getting in some trouble in terms of not getting in the box, and all of a sudden Heimo, who capitalized on their first one to tie this game, has the chance to win it with that same chance.
Again, it is sudden death overtime. One goes wide. Maybe one of these days, of course, we'll be able to see a regular season option for 5, you know, a 3-on-3, a shootout eventually. I'd love it if we had, say, 5-10 minutes of 5-on-5 and then switch it up to 4-on-4 and then 3-on-3, then go to a shootout, something.
Are you listening?
Well, you can lead a horse to water. Roots unable to get this puck back. Mickey's in control. Just 19 seconds left on the power play. Sadapoika's shot deflection opportunity in front. Did not go. Sampe's going to be unable to clear. We are back to 5-on-5. Knock him to Sadapoika. They wanted the deflection again. It's how they found their lone goal of the game. As Mickey's over for Sakam, shot save, rebound, goaltender was in no man's land. Fortunately for him, no one on the opposition was able to find that puck. Here come Heimo again, Sadapoika. Back for Sakam, Mickey's at the point, pinching in. Good patience here by Aro. To the space, full pressure now. Sadapoika. Back to the forehand. Emil to Sakam. They're trying to set up that deflection in front. There it is. Save. Rebound. Scores. A comeback win for Heimo. They secure the second point as their captain finds the back of the net. It's a 2-1 final.
And it was a picture-perfect play, Tugi. They get the full pressure. Beautiful cycle. Everyone touched this puck, if I'm correct, for Heimo on that play. And they just kept going around. And that shot from the odd angle right there from the outside of the left faceoff circle. But it was where the shot was placed. Getting it low off of the pad of Yantes. Perfectly placed right there, as you mentioned, was the captain himself in Emil to be able to be there to get that second chance on the rebound. Nothing Yantes could do to slide over that left side to make the save, and Heimo gets that critical second point. He almost got there, just not able to do so in time, maybe a split second late there to make that save on the rebound.
So a big result, 2 points in the books for Heimo following that victory. Again, we will now look ahead to the second game between these two teams. As again, the last 2 goals of the game for Heimo, we got to look at the winner. Shots on net, good things can happen. They were patient in the attacking zone. They didn't make a mistake in that final stretch with the delayed call. You get to look at the numbers, though. Pretty close game. Really could have gone either way. But similar to the scoreline, the points end up being dispensed the same way, 2-1.
Yeah, and I think that for both teams, you're okay with that. It's not what you ideally want, especially for Roots Gaming, who again are in a very tight battle in that relegation zone. But nevertheless, even though you're not able to get that win in regulation, you're still able to get a point. You're able to at least claw just an inch closer, and for Heimo, even though they weren't able to get 3 points, they were awful close to getting no points. They only got 1 goal throughout that entire 3 periods, and usually getting 1 goal, you're probably going to be doing pretty good to end up with 2 points. So I think both teams, even though it's not what they ideally wanted, obviously you want to get all 3 points if you can, both of them I think will be all right with that, especially Heimo being able to get that win.
So with that, again, the first game of 2 in the books. We'll be back after a brief word from our sponsor with the second game between Roots Gaming and Heimo.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, everybody, we are back. And as you can see, just about ready to go for our fourth and final game of this broadcast. One more time, Heimo and Roots Gaming. And it was a 2-1 overtime win for Heimo in that first game. They'll go back at it here. 3 more points on the line for a regulation win. Both teams need it badly. A reminder, of course, this upcoming Monday, 18th of December, we have more Elite Division action. Mayhems taking on Strikers. Besapampa taking on the Falun Coal Miners. You're not going to want to miss that as we kick off week 5 here in the ECL. Of course, not just with the Elite Division, Pro Division as well. A lot going on throughout the ECL tiers as regular seasons continue to get that much closer to the end. But for now, we focus on this game, and this is a big moment at this stage of the season for both of these two teams, Major.
Yeah, and I think as well as a few of the teams that you mentioned, you guys will be covered on Monday with some invested interest in this one. Points on the line, Heimo trying to get themselves thoroughly in the playoff picture, Roots Gaming trying to stay out of the relegation zone. This is a massive game here for both of these two teams' hopes to that cause.
Great movement early on from Aro, everything but the finish. We know he has that high level of individual skill. Emil down the other way. And a trip is called, and Nordsman will find himself in the box very early on in this game.
Again, too, remember, Nordsman, he took the 2 penalties in the last game that led to goals for Heimo later on. So, Nordsman, as great as a player as he is, I praised him for his offensive ability. He has struggled so far in this game tonight to stay out of the box, and we've seen a couple of times where it's given Heimo goals and it's bitten Roots to where they could have some points in this so far.
Puck corralled here by Sockham. And they were able to end it on the power play. In that last game, Sadapoika pinching in. Early clear here for Roots.
By the way, too, I couldn't help but to look it up. Coming into this game, Nord's been 10 penalty minutes. So far, he's already up to 6.
Space down the middle. Mickey's had the chance. Defense was able to recover. Emil do the same. Still 45 seconds left on the power play. Good blocker save. Iontis back to the point now. Sadapoika full pressure active. Emil shot it all the way through and just out of the zone. They do quickly reestablish. Sadapoika tries the short side. Another save by Iontis. Power play is over. We are back to 5-on-5 as Emil hits the outside of the post.
What a smart play, though, from Sadapoika. Even though it didn't lead to a goal, just look at the way he sold that cross-crease pass, hoping that he could maybe get Yantes to bite a little bit over and move so he could get that open backhand. An experienced player making a really good move.
Half wall chip towards goal. There to take it away. Bouncing puck corralled, and Yantes again. Able to hold his ground, seal off that post, and make another save.
Yeah, and we talked about it in the pregame, Tugi. Both of these goalies, very good, very experienced. They could very well be the ones that dictate these games, and saw that in game 1. We're seeing it again in game 2. Yantes making big saves.
More zone time here for Heimo, nearly back up to full pressure. Mickey's centering feed, nobody there. Limu down the other way. Centering feed. Good opportunity. Saka, good patience. Nowhere to go, though, once he got over the line. Sadapoika will slow things down. Still a pretty fast pace to this one. Halfway through the first period. Opportunity for Lima, walked all the way through, just couldn't get that shot up on the backhand. Down the other way, Sockham. Ups back, Mickey's the shot, deflection, opportunity for Aro. As you can see, Heimo trying different looks very early on in this game. You could argue unfortunate at this stage to have not found the back of the net. They've continued to control play. They have to be a little bit cautious about getting caught like they did in that first game. Aro centering feed. Great chance for Sadapoika. Biggest save the game so far for Yontas, short side. And another save. Full pressure yet again for Heimo. Sadapoika, D-to-D pass. Sakam back to him. Low shot, rebound. Nordsman there. Puts it up ahead to Sampe, and well, they forced the offside at the very least.
And that last opportunity from Heimo looked almost identical to the game-winning goal that they had in overtime. The shot on from a left side, odd angle, trying to get the rebound off the right pad. But you mentioned something, too. It's been all Heimo so far in this first period. And right now, it just feels like a matter of if not when they get that first goal.
Limus tosses it off the boards to clear the puck out. Sadapoika to the forehand. Low shot. Good save. Yet again, Yontas doing everything he can to hold his team in this one. Mickey's tried to pass that one through. Aro again keeping it alive. Back to the point. Sadapoika's low shot blocked down. Here's Vodi stepping up. Finds Sampe trying to cut back to the forehand. Limu has it. Disrupted. Final moment. Less than 90 seconds to go in the period. Alexa takes this one away. Roots would love a late goal here. Being in their own zone for the vast majority of the period. Centering feed. Sadapoika takes it away. Now up the ice. Sakam back to him. Sadapoika, great opportunity. As Emil can't hold the line, and that will do it. And Meja, it feels safe to say Roots survived the first period, still in a goalless contest.
Staying alive. I think that's the song playing for Roots Gaming right now, because that is really all they were able to do in that period. As a matter of fact, too, I think on that last goal may have even hit a piece of the post. So Heimo, not only multiple opportunities, but really just inches away on a few different occasions from breaking open the score. I mean, 12 shots in 4 minutes and 15 seconds of time on attack in period one alone. It was all Heimo throughout. Roots Gaming, I mean, quite frankly, extremely fortunate to even be in a tie situation. I think you could argue with the amount of opportunities and the quality that they've all been. Heimo could easily be up 3-0 in this game.
We got to look here at one of the numerous opportunities that they had. The second period about ready to begin. And as always, the action brought to you by our friends at Kovalan Lockert. It was a 2-1 overtime victory for Heimo in that first game. And they threw nearly everything they could at Roots in that first period to try to find the breakthrough. Unable to do so, and we'll see if Roots are able to find the response that they really need here. Got the puck down low, centering feed. Sampe had the opening! But a good stop by Vamo, who was able to get back over there. Short angle shot, crucial block by Sadapoika. Two good looks early on for Roots. Nearly built up that full pressure. You can see the aggressiveness to try and do so. Sampe has it. Pause there on the stream, but here we go. Back into the attacking zone. Got caught up. Too many people in front of him, and a penalty called. One hit too many, just a little bit too much aggression, and that is not what Roots needed.
No, not at all. And I mean, give them some credit. They were able to kill off the penalty last time they took earlier in the first period. But, you know, you keep playing with fire, sooner or later you're going to get burned. And it just feels like Roots Gaming continuously playing with fire throughout this game, whether it be the penalties, whether it be the lack of ability to get out of their own zone. Heimo's going to capitalize sooner rather than later.
Sadapoika does a good job to hold the puck in, but couldn't find the follow-up. The line, Sakam, that pass broken up again. Limu does a good job. Clear it out. And here, Emil drops back for Sakam. It's an offside here, and not the start to the power play. Certainly the Heimo would have been looking for.
Not at all, especially considering how well they have been playing on 5-on-5. Nice job from Roots Gaming to get Heimo out of the zone early. Ever since they got him out, they haven't really been able to reestablish.
Base here now. Aro's shot. Can't find intended target. 30 seconds left on the power play. He's trying to lead things quickly back down the other way. Aro takes the hit. Mickey's still there. Tried the short side. Yontis down early. Just like that, we're back to 5-on-5.
Great PK from Roots, a team that struggled on that end. They needed that badly.
Bremel and another offside here as neither side, up to this point, able to kind of find the breakthroughs that they, at times, have looked like they'd be able to find.
Yeah, and you know, it kind of feels like this series between these two teams coming in was going to be one where it was lower scoring, but you would see some opportunities. It's lived up to that so far.
As a shot there, clips the post. Base now for Limu down the other way. Good patience. Nordsman tried to pinch in, ran into a brick wall. Known as Emil, the captain of this Heimo squad. Loose puck finally corralled by Sakam. Lead things down the other way. Emil was there briefly. Aro recovers the loose puck and gets hip checked. Good Rob Blake crowd on that one. Big hit there on Nordsman. Up the other way, Emil. We're already halfway through the second period. Mickey's the spin, centering feed. Aro pinched down into the corner to recover it. Throws one towards goal. Nordsman finds Alexa. The cutback, the pass, the goal! They've done it again. Hemmed in their own zone for the majority of the game. But they have the game's opening goal. Make it 1-0 for Roots Gaming. Major, I believe we have you on mute. The worst thing for any commentator, because you're always just like, oh, damn it, it happened. But it happens to all of us.
It happens to the best of us, my friend. And I mean, if you're Heimo, you just have to feel like life is unfair right now. I mean, you dominate this entire game. You get chance after chance after chance. Bruce just continues to hold on, stay alive. And then the first real good opportunity they get, they come in, they score on a nice pass from Alexa there on that as well.
There we go. Sampe back down the other way. Roots going to try to double up. Good poke check. Aro taken down again. Still fighting for it. Atapoika there to help him out. Great sauce pass. Up to ML. One person to beat for the moment. Defense holds strong. Emil, patience down low. Kicks back to the point. Satapoika again to him. Mickey's to the forehand. Couldn't get the shot off. 5.5 to go in the period. Roots again up 1-0. Much like they were in game one. Or losing 2-1 in overtime. Sakam recovers this puck. Down the other way. Quickly up for Aro. Work his way through. That's a bump. Now Sakam. Good movement here. Satapoika pinching in. Tried to send it across. Time for that. Already gone away. Nordsman. Good job to reset. All the way across. Sampe's shot. Good stop. Amo was able to get the blocker to it, and a good hit there by Vodi. Nordsman tried to get over the line. Great poke check by Emil. Vodi's there to try to hold him over to the wall. Mickey's to Satapoika. Nordsman one-timer. Good save again by Yontis. Final 10 seconds now. Roots would love another goal here. Sampe trying to break through. Limu with him. 3 seconds left. Sent in front. Nobody home. And that will do it. Second period comes to a close. And the opening goal for Roots in a very similar situation to last game.
Yeah, extremely similar. Roots seeming like they really were in a position where they weren't going to be in this spot, but yep, they got that one opportunity and they capitalized on it. They made a play when they needed to. Heimo, despite all the opportunities, weren't able to capitalize on one, not even to their own fault, really. I mean, they had a lot of good chances. It's just Yantes has been absolutely unreal so far in this game, and net Roots Gaming did a good job of weathering the storm enough to hold Heimo to no goals, and soon enough, they were able to get that one chance offensively. As you see, that one little spin kind of cut there from Lexa to get that pass across. That was what enabled that play to create that space through the defender. Just picture perfect there. You can't make it much better than that. And it gives Roots Gaming that 1-0 lead in what was a much more balanced second period compared to that first. Remember, Heimo had 12 shots in that first period, just 3 there in that second. So Roots Gaming fighting their way here as it goes along.
Here we go. Third period about ready to begin. Let's see what happens again. Valuable points up for grabs as Heimo pushing. Try and make it into the playoff conversation. Check there as Roots looking to avoid relegation battle as the season winds down. Sadapoika, the one-timer. Able to feed Sockham, but get the shot through. Mickey's the short angle shot. Another chance to shovel it home. Yantes is there again. Full pressure is active. Roots need to get this puck out. Limu does. The full pressure stays active. Space for Aro. He scores! Out of nowhere, the tying goal for Heimo as Aro finds the breakthrough. Makes this a 1-1 game.
And Tugi, this just feels like a carbon copy of what we saw in the first game between these two. I mean, Roots comes in with a 1-0 lead. Heimo goes in early, just gets the fire in to start this third period. And once again, they do it in game 2. I mean, almost a similar script to what we saw. Only the jersey colors have really changed between these two. And all of a sudden, we're tied at 1 yet again. And you just wonder which team wants this victory. They both need it desperately. One's got to take it.
A 1-1 the scoreline here. And all the emphasis for both of these teams to get the regulation win. Wrap around bid for Haro caught a lot of the post and nearly doubled up.
Yeah, and I think for Roots Gaming, this is a little bit scary because now Heimo has that 1 goal under their belt. They're feeling good. They had the momentum in this third period. This is going to be interesting to see on this offensive zone face-off.
Lex able to pick this one off, but not able to find the follow-up pass. Stockham just taking a couple of laps there as he bides time. Emil with a bit of space here. Good poke check. Pompey trying to recover. Battling with Sadapoika. Puck finds its way to Emil. Tried to throw it short side. Yantes makes the save. Plays it out. Tries to get Roots going down the other way. Here's Limu with a lot of speed. Throws one on. Rebound. Amo was there. Highly contested shot. Down low yet again. The Roots. Decent zone time here, but again, can't really generate anything out of it. As Vody misses a hit. Space for Aro. Gets it to ML. Great save by Yantes. Thought there might have been a penalty for the contact that took down Aro, but it's called clean as Sampe throws one towards goal, and Mickey's picks it off.
Going back to that play, Tugi, Aro, he waited too late to hit Emil on that pass. He had him for a while, and if he hits him earlier, it's a breakaway.
Lexa in possession here halfway through the period. Still a 1-1 game. Very well take overtime yet again. Limu throws one towards goal. Puck bouncing around. Sadapoika turns it over. Sampe can't get the shot off, nor can Lexa. Sends Heimo down the other way with numbers. Mickey's for Emil. Drops back. Sadapoika can't get the shot through. And now it's Roots Gaming down the other way. Lexa with some space. Walked into traffic. Nordsman tries to cut in. Both teams starting to take chances. Bodie being more aggressive. Didn't complete the hit, but the fear of it caused the opposition to reset. Limu has it. Sampe able to get it back to him. Limu does get a shot off. Good save by Vamo. 4:33 to go in regulation.
What a great defensive possession there for Roots Gaming. You mentioned they caused Heimo to kind of reset, not wanting to force that mistake, and they come back around. They ended up making a mistake anyways because of the defensive positioning of Roots.
Malcolm sends that one around. Roots definitely turning up the heat in terms of forechecking. Now by Sampe to get in front of that one. Now it's Lexa yet again. In control, but can't get it through. Fighting for it in the corner. Limu down low. Good movement, but Lexa denied. A good save by Vamo yet again. Pass picked off by Nordsman. 2 minutes left in regulation. That's the far side corner. Allows Heimo to reset under 90 seconds to go. Be overtime for the second game in a row. Offside on Sockham.
Man, and with this being a full-time minute, we just can't help but to wonder where this next opportunity is going to come from. Both of these sides have had their fair share so far in this period. With the goalies playing the way they are, you just don't know. You got a feeling, too, we might be heading for another OT. It just feels that way.
Up ahead. Mickey's in control. Can't get the pass off. Heimo can't get the shot through. Penalty called on Roots. And it will be Heimo going to the power play. Nordsman back to the box again. It's been a rough night for him in terms of discipline. And the door is open here for Heimo to take this in regulation.
Yeah, the penalty box door opens for Nordsman, and once again, the door of opportunity opens for Heimo. And once again, remember, in game one, it was a Nordsman penalty that led to the Heimo game winner. Could we see deja vu here again?
Do win the draw. Sadapoika at the point. Sockham working with them. Great glove save there. And it's cleared. 9 seconds to go. Sadapoika leading the rush. Finds Aro. Gets wiped out. Mickey's to Sadapoika. Back save again as Yantes secures another point for Roots Gaming. Both sides earning a point from this one, but man, Roots, you got to bail out your goaltender here in overtime. This was a tremendous performance from Yantes to get them this point and a chance in overtime.
Yeah, I think you can thank Yantes for Roots coming out with really any points in this matchup all night. He has been unreal from start to finish. Not many mistakes made by him so far. The team in front of him has got to provide him with some help. He's bailed them out on constant penalty kills. He's bailed them out on constant Heimo rushes and opportunities. They have got to give their goalie some support with a win here and find some offense. And not even just finding offense, just limiting mistakes. There's been a lot of mistakes for Roots Gaming. The fact that Heimo has not come out with 3 points in this game is honestly a blessing for Roots Gaming for their relegation zone hopes.
Again, you get a look at some of the chances here. Yantes having 2 of his better games on the season back-to-back. As we go to overtime, back-to-back games between these two teams. Still on the power play are Heimo. Heimo now with 3 points from this matchup. Roots with 2. See if Roots can even it up, or if it will be a 4-2 split for Heimo with consecutive overtime wins. Lexa forces the turnover, has back pressure coming, tries the short angle shot. Vamos says no. Interesting decision there, but I do like at least getting the puck on net.
Yeah, and I think that the back check there from Sadapoika was what threw that off. I don't think that was the ideal shot that Lexa wanted, but it was really all he had. It's better than turning it over because you get an offensive zone face-off on the PK.
Not being able to hold on to it. 44 seconds left on the power play. Vody able to send it all the way down. One more rush attempt here for Heimo. It's knocked loose. Yantes off the pad. Sampi has it. Can't clear. Sockham pinches in. Sockham centering feed. Across kick save again. We are back to 5-on-5. Emil has this one. He's pressured. 3 minutes gone in the overtime. Roots survive another kill. What is that now? 8 penalty minutes in these 2 games for Nordsman when he had 10 all season
That's
long
correct.
up to this point. That's been rough. He's had a good night, but got to stay out of the box here. Another penalty for either side. Could be the decider. Sadapoika able to find Aro. Couldn't get the shot off. Bodhi. Go back over to Limu. It's broken up. Free possession here for Heimo. And offside's the call.
Yeah, a bit of a neutral zone battle in the last 2 or 3 minutes. Heimo not really able to break in, Roots Gaming not really able to break in, and it kind of makes you wonder if a play we've not seen at all so far at night, but we've seen a couple of times that Omaha play, if you're struggling to break into the blue line, maybe throw a different look that the other team is not expecting. Something like that could be something to look out for.
Wordsman circles through. Bodhi able to settle things down here. The Roots again not able to break through that blue line trap. Ockham up to Mickey, who has a bit of space. Low shot on. Yantis again able to make the save. His team's just hoping with these shots on net, maybe looking for rebounds. Just hasn't happened.
Yeah, Heimo was looking for that rebound play yet again. Just the shot placement, unfortunately, not there. Just right into the 5-hole of Yantis.
Bodhi able to pick that one off. Sadapoika again able to recover. Drive towards the net. Aro just ran out of space. Ockham at the point. Tried to get it through. Unable to do so. Again, they do have the center grinder set up with Mickey's. There's a shot there. Sadapoika having trouble picking it up. Finally does. Got by Nordsman. 12 minutes gone now in this OT. Lexa back to Bodhi. Bodhi to Lexa. One extra pass. It's broken up. And that has been the story of this one. So many close chances, but still not able to find the back of the net more than the, well, one apiece.
Yeah, so close, but yet so far feels like it's been the story for both of these teams. Just wonder what it's going to take to be able to get that game winner.
That one off the back wall. Broken up. Alexa has nowhere to go. Aro plays it safe in terms of possession. Ockham pressured, finds the pass. Space for Mickey's. Gets wiped out. Hit by Nordsman. Bodhi to Limu. Tried to go back. Emil was there to pick it off. Consistent changes of possession. Waiting for one of these two teams to find that breakthrough and to earn that extra point for their team. Good entry here. Zampe the shot. Close, but not close enough.
On Omaha, but something like that, a different breakout that kind of threw a new look at Heimo, who's been locked into that neutral zone defense.
There it was that time, but Sockham reads it perfectly, icing on Roots.
And I think you're starting to see both of these teams get a little bit antsy too. You didn't get that goal. You're waiting around, just looking for someone to get something to where you don't want it to be the opposition. You want to be the one getting that next opportunity. So maybe we're starting to see these teams get a little bit more aggressive here in the last 2 minutes of this overtime.
Face off. Again, only the final minute is real time now. Mickey's centering feed. It's just not there. Now Limu, never mind in regards to the final minute being overtime. It's faster than I thought.
Oh. That is
all right, it is still just the 30 seconds. Fair enough. There's Ammo back to the point. Sadapoika. Can't get it back. Sadapoika trying to make something happen here if he can. Still in contention for it. Final 8 seconds here of the first overtime. It could be the first of many. 3 seconds to go. And indeed, double overtime coming up. Try and decide this extra point.
Well, I hope you've grabbed a snack. I hope you've grabbed a drink. And if you need to use the bathroom, you might want to go ahead and do it quickly because these two look like they have no intentions on going anywhere anytime soon. Just not a lot separating either side during this overtime. And it's really been that way, Toogie, through the entire 7 periods, or really 7.5 periods that we've seen from these two teams. The stats wouldn't really show you that, but just the flow of the game has shown you that. A lot of Heimo's stats are kind of skewed because of how dominant they were in that first period. Remember, they had 12 shots in over 4.5 minutes of time on attack, but ever since then, the last 3 periods of this game, very, very even. So really, it's just a matter of who's going to get that one chance and who's going to be able to one to capitalize to get the win.
Here we go. Double overtime coming up. So we look to close our broadcast coverage for the 4th week of ECL action. Again, week 5 kicks off on Monday. We close in on the end of this regular season. Battle for the puck. Limu. It's the post. That sharp angle. Sampi back to Limu. Sampi again. Stopped, and it's in! It wasn't the prettiest goal, but I think that's how most expected it to end. Roots Gaming win in overtime as both teams walk away with 3 points on the night.
Wow, and you kind of said it. You didn't really expect it to be a pretty winner, but a winner nevertheless was going to have to come sooner than later, and just a lot of traffic in front. You say all the time that that is where you ideally want that puck to be, is around that blue paint, because you never know. You might get a bounce, you might get a tip, you might get something that knocks that thing in past the goaltender. And for Roots Gaming, they put themselves in position. That's exactly what happened, just crashing in that, collapsing in front. Nothing Vamu could really do about that whatsoever. And Roots Gaming getting the 3 points in total with that OT loss and the OT win. Heimo getting 3 points in total with an OT loss and an OT win. So we talked about how points were at a premium for both these sides. They split. Both of them get 3 apiece.
There you go. It took a little bit longer than expected. But at the end of the day, 3 points apiece for both of these teams. Not the worst results that either could have looked for, as they both try to battle their way back up the league table. Again, your final score, well, in both of these games, 2-1 in overtime. Changing sides. Heimo winning game 1, Roots winning in game 2, as we get a look at the numbers there. And for Roots, I mean, getting 3 points out of a possible 6, not a bad day for them.
No, not at all, especially considering that you saw Falun coal miners pick up 3 points earlier, who were ahead of them coming into this game, and you still have Goons, you still have Lextugan that's behind them, you have Goons who are holding on to that last spot with 30 points coming into this. So for Roots to be able to pick up 3 points, you can't really understate how massive this is to their cause, especially considering that, some of the matchups that they still have got upcoming are not necessarily the easiest. And there's no easy matchups in the Elite Division, but nevertheless, you have to pick up the points where you can, especially considering that time is really starting to run thin on this season, Toogie. You mentioned that we'll be wrapping up the regular season in a week's time, week 5 starting next week. You got to get all the points you can. There is no time to lose, no points to lose. So for Roots to come out with points, trying to avoid that relegation, massive for them to stay alive in that talk.
One last look here at the standings. Obviously, that last game will not be in the system yet. But if we can take a look at what we have, and, well, hey, if not, sportsgamer.gg, of course, is always the place for the most up-to-date information. But again, well, hey, there we go. There's the refresh. This is where things stand at the moment. Again, the top 8 teams make the playoffs. And of course, if you're not going to be there, you don't want to find yourselves in the bottom 4. And for the Falun coal miners, they still have a chance to dig themselves out. Roots Gaming still have a chance as well to do that. But we're starting to see things shape up a little bit more, but those playoff spots hardly guaranteed at this stage. Again, 30-game regular season, so still a ways to go, and we'll be following the action next week as we wrap up the regular season here in the Elite Division. So make sure to tune in next Monday. It is Mayhems taking on Strikers, Vesapampa, and the Falun Coal Miners, as I'll be on the call with the one Sin for the win, as he will be making his return from the lovely land of the Finns, regrettably. Not on my part. I'm happy to have him back, but I don't think I'm going to be able to steal him away for too much longer. But with that, I want to thank Brandon, of course, for joining me here on this broadcast. It was great to be able to work alongside you yet again. And of course, you can catch him on the Twitter side of things, because in this house, we still call it Twitter, at BMajor. And of course, you can catch me at Tuki24 everywhere here, YouTube, Twitch, the whole fun deal. We'll be back next week. Thank you again for supporting the ECL and SportsGamer, and we will see you all next week.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.